The name on the back of his jersey says it all. When Heisman hopeful Javid Best takes the field, he is simply that, the best.
Heisman hopeful, here it comes, across midfield, one man to beat. Touchdown, Cal.
That time he does a great job of selling the front side of the play and then just cutting back with that tremendous speed.
Today, Javid Best and the number 10 ranked California Golden Bears play host to Eastern Washington. Next on Comcast Sportsnet California. Football Saturday in Berkeley. The fans are out for their highly ranked Bears. The opponent from Eastern Washington, they've got their fans as well. The Eagles will have to stop the high-flying Javid Best, the Heisman hopeful. Overcast skies greet us in Berkeley. Today, the Eastern Washington Eagles take on the number 10 ranked California Golden Bears. Hi, everyone, and welcome in. Along with former Pac-10 offensive MVP Mike Podolsky, I am Jim Kozimor. Christine Nubla will join us from the sideline in just a moment. For the Cal Bears, offense always very important for a Jeff Tedford team. Over the last 7 years, in 6 of those seasons, they've averaged 30 or more points. In week 1, they threw points on the board against Maryland and showed Mike they can beat you on the ground and in the air.
Absolutely. Great offense has balance, and this team has balance. On the ground, they have the Heisman hopeful, the premier running back in the nation right now, Javid Best, 137 yards on just 10 carries. That's an average of 13.7 per time he totes the rock. 2 touchdowns. He is sick quick and has blinding speed, and oh yeah, he can get up over the top as well.
And let's not forget what happens when they put the ball in the air. The quarterback is Kevin Riley. He won the job in the fall, and he really took over in week 1.
Yeah, last year, big question mark. Coming in, quarterbacks were an issue for Cal. Didn't know if Kevin Riley was going to get his confidence back. Well, if week 1 tells you anything, Mr. Riley had his confidence back. 4 touchdowns, 298 yards through the air, throwing pinpoint strikes on the deep ball. Kevin Riley feels comfortable in the pocket. He has the weapons to get it to with the receivers. He is going to be a top Pac-10 quarterback this year.
For Eastern Washington, they come in with a win after their first game of the season, and they're not going to have that awe factor coming here to Berkeley. Every year they like to schedule some of the bigger schools. They've been to Colorado. They've been to Texas Tech. They'll be ready, and they'll have a homecoming for their running back, the converted corner. His name is Taiwan Jones. He shows he can carry the rock.
Yeah, last week his numbers impressive too. 12 rushes, 122 yards, averaging over 10 yards per carry, and his first touch went for 87 off left tackle. He's a 10-500, almost as fast as Javid Best, and he can do some damage.
The band is playing. Football is in the air. You ready?
And it is fall football time, baby.
Eastern Washington in town for 10th ranked Cal. The kickoff on the way on Comcast Sportsnet California. Cal football on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Northern California Honda dealers at shophonda.com. And by Bank of the West, dedicated to your financial success for over 130 years. Stop by a branch or visit us on the web, a proud sponsor of Cal football. Cal Bears impressive in week 1 in the victory over Maryland. Take on Eastern Washington in game 2 of the season for them. Let's go down to the field. The third member of our broadcast crew, Christine Nubla.
Jim, Cal defensive coordinator Bob Gregory told me overall he thought Cal's defense did very well against Maryland, noting that Maryland threw a lot of different formations at them. He thought the players adjusted well. Cal went on to record 6 sacks and 85 tackles in that game. While the stats are impressive, many of the players said that there is room for improvement, including Jared Price, who noted that there were misassignments amongst the linebacking corps. As for how Cal's defense will approach this Eastern Washington offense, an offense, by the way, that ranked 24th nationally amongst FCS teams last year, Coach Gregory said, you know, it's not so much about them, it's really all about us. If we execute our game plan, we should be successful today. Back up to you.
A stylish Christine Nubla on the sideline.
Looking great on the sideline, and kind of echoing Coach Gregory told us, Coach Tedford told us, that this Cal team is focusing on what they can do. Championship caliber teams, Coach Tedford told us yesterday, get it done every week, no matter who their opponent is. The challenge is on yourself. This week in the locker room, the Bears have a board on which they have all of their opponents for the season. One of the players went in and put white athletic tape over every opponent's name and wrote Cal. So every name on that board was Cal versus Cal. That is a championship caliber thought process. You have to know about your own team, and you're competitive with yourself every week.
Cal to take on Eastern Washington. The Eagles 1-0. Bo Baldwin in his second year with this program as the head coach. He was there as an assistant for many years. He doesn't think the veterans on this team are going to have that awe factor. They're not going to be wowed by the big environs of the Pac-10 building, the Pac-10 opponents. They understand they're taking on a very talented team, but he feels that Eastern Washington has some fight. And we are underway. On the return, straight up the field for Eastern Washington, J.T. Leggin.
And Leggin came right out of his shoe-in on the first play. Stepped right out of his shoe back on the 4-yard line. It's hard to return a kick when you're not wearing both your Nikes. Watch him drop that leg back, and as soon as he goes to take off, shoe pops off. That's hard to return.
And you'll see where they put the ball now. The ball is back at the 6 when he slipped and went down.
Knee went down. The shoe went down. The knee went down. And that ball is down. In college football, by rule, as soon as the knee or elbow touch the ground, you are down.
That takes away a 24-yard return. And the starting quarterback, Matt Nichols, a 4-year starter. He'll open up out of the shotgun formation. 5 receivers out. Pressure is on. The sack near the goal line. Let's see where they place the ball. It'll be second down. Boy, that defensive line that recorded 6 sacks in the victory over Maryland comes out with a first possession of the game, and it's Tyson Alu.
Tyson Alu has been a star for this Cal defensive line. He's on one side. Eddie Young coming off the backside, that strong side linebacker. The Bears bring pressure. The defensive line is explosive, and now they have to worry about it coming off the 1-inch line for Eastern Washington.
And no gain on the play. That defense, they had the signal up. They wanted a safety early, but they did not get it. The fans responding as well. Third down coming up. But Jeff Tedford has the defense really rolling. In week 1, they were blitz crazy, and here they stuffed the run, Mike.
Stuff it hard, and that, it's questionable whether that ball actually made it out of the end zone. Very near a safety for the Golden Bears on the first defensive stand here, and they are showing how tough they can be up front. Remember, they switched to the 3-4 last season, and they really feel comfortable with it now.
On third down, there was some movement, and flags go down. Well, you could see the defensive line.
Game on the offense, penalties before half the distance to the goal. Third down.
Half the distance, they're going to go about a centimeter for the total penalty. And you know what? And if I'm a quarterback and I'm worried about getting hit and I'm not sure we have it picked up, I'll take that penalty. Make sure everything is set, everybody's comfortable. You move that ball just an inch further, and that's a safety because it's already touching the line.
On third down, Nichols out of the shotgun. Completes the pass underneath to Tony Davis. He's down immediately after making the catch. A pickup of just a couple, and Eastern Washington will have to punt the football.
But give credit where it's due. You saw how much heat the Bears were bringing the last 2 downs. The Bears brought it again, and Eastern Washington doing a nice job of giving their quarterback a little bit of time in the pocket. Good defensive stand for the Bears, but a nice job and a confidence builder for that O-line for Eastern Washington.
The junior. They had Cameron Zuber ready to punt, but instead they go to the quarterback, Matt Nichols, and he sends one out just outside the 35-yard line, down to the 36-yard line, a 36-yard punt, as the quarterback, Matt Nichols, is out there. And now we turn our attention to another quarterback on the Cal side. Kevin Riley against Maryland threw 4 touchdown passes. What is maybe most impressive is that he started the game 1 for 5 and then finished 17 of 26. In 9 starts last year, he was 7-2. He won the job in the fall. In motion, Marvin Jones. Best has a block. Cuts it upfield inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. A first down. Offensively for the Cal Bears. That offensive line, just one senior, a redshirt freshman, a couple of sophomores, and a junior on that front line. And then on the skill positions, Javid Best, number 4, will get all the attention. His backup, Shane Vereen, will get a lot of time. Marvin Jones, we mentioned him as a man in motion. He just loves to play the game. A lot of talented skill position guys for the Bears. Play fake. They hit Holly, the fullback. He breaks one tackle to the 10 on his feet inside the 5. A great individual effort by the senior from Pomona, California.
Great balance. That is what a fullback is supposed to do. Brian Hawley on the naked counter pass out of the backfield. Coming up, you'll see Hawley coming underneath, stepping out into that flat. It's wide and clear because of play action and hand down drill. Coach, how many times have we talked about it? Running backs have to keep their balance. Putting that hand down. Coaches work with them every day at practice. Hawley using it in the game.
A 21-yard pickup on the play. First and goal for the Bears. They give to Best. Forces his way towards the goal line. Did he get there? No. Held up by the linebackers.
Ball's been down on the north side of the stadium on that 1-inch line a lot today, hasn't it?
Boy, it sure has.
Watch the hole open up inside. Cal's line blocking to the right. Best finding the hole, trying to drive. Good job of gang tackling by Eastern Washington at linebacker core, getting a couple jerseys around the ball on to Best, keeping him out of the end zone.
And the safety Kevin Hatch coming in to help out as well. And on the next play, a sneak by the quarterback, and Kevin Riley is in for the touchdown for the Cal Bears.
And we knew it wasn't going to take that long. Cal, an extremely potent offense. We expect to see them score some points today. Simple, straight ahead. Everybody's going to wedge at the point of attack. Get the quarterback in the end zone. Get the big bodies up front. You mentioned it. They're young, but they're experienced. That offensive line from last year lost 5 scholarship linemen during the season. All those guys back with experience this year.
And the freshman Vince D'Amato is on for the point after touchdown. It is good. The Cal Bears in a minute 27 have put 7 on the board. They lead early. A 4-play, 35-yard drive, and the Cal Bears, ranked 10th in the nation, lead at 7-0. Kevin Riley just wanted to make sure everything's okay. And he sure made it look okay on that first drive. Cal made it look very easy.
Well, that offense, you expect them to be efficient. They were efficient last week. They're going to carry that on this week. Running the football. Run the football first. People talk about Jeff Tedford as a quarterback guru. He loves running backs, and he's always had a great running game wherever he's coached.
Tywan Jones back deep to receive. Giorgio Tavecchio puts it in the air. Jones bobbles and then gets clubbed back at his own 16-yard line. Cal showing what they can do defensively the first time they were on the field.
Well, they came out an aggressive group. Bob Gregory loves to call the blitz. He loves to dial up pressure. Eddie Young coming up that right side, strong side linebacker gets in there. And then those young linebackers stopping in the middle, doing a good job of keeping everything underneath. Bob Gregory is a defensive genius. I love the way he calls football. Talked to him yesterday and said, as a quarterback, I would hate to face your defense because you never get a clean look. And he said, that's exactly what we're going for.
They return the entire defensive front line and the secondary as well. A new set of linebackers, but they've been playing well. Here's a pass that is completed to Tony Davis, his second catch of the ball game. And now they're moving Nichols around in the pocket a little bit.
Matt Nichols, a very good quarterback. Versus Texas Tech last year, you see 36 for 61. He threw the ball a couple times in that game, Coach. 335 yards. And remember, Texas Tech was number 12 when they faced him last year. They put up some points.
They've played Colorado, BYU, Oregon State, West Virginia. They're not afraid to go into the big buildings. As a pickup That gets the ball to the 25-yard line, a pickup of 3. Tyler Hart.
Just a little shovel pass underneath, the League Rose Cup shovel pass. One of my favorite all-time players and announcers. Cupper still working with the Bears doing the post-game show.
3rd down coming up for the Eagles. Pass complete. Jones has a 1st down and gets out of bounds near the 30-yard line. You know, Jones came into the ballgame after a tremendous game 1, 12 carries and 122 yards, but he is a little banged up.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a shoulder. They're concerned. They don't want to get him hurt, obviously, going into their regular season, into their conference. So they're going to play him sparingly. They don't want to get him hurt going forward, but he adds such a dimension to that offense with his speed that you have to get him in the game.
Nichols has time over the middle, and he overshoots Aaron Boyce, the wideout, Big Sky Player of the Week from a week ago.
And Boyce had a hard time getting off the line of scrimmage. You'll see up top, he's getting jammed by Darian Hagan. Hagan kept him underneath, so Nichols had to hold the ball, had to pump. And right there, the jam, he was off his rhythm. These two are best friends in the offseason. They work out together, they throw together, Nichols and Boyce do. Nichols is normally on time with him, but when you disrupt the route as a quarterback, it's hard to find the right spot with the ball.
2nd down, Taiwan Jones on the field in the backfield. Boyce in motion, and flags go down. Pass is complete to Davis. He gets out of bounds, but we'll have to see what the flags mean.
It looks like illegal motion. There were 2 guys moving. There you have it.
It's a little like Jones was also disoriented in the back. He was talking to the quarterback, Nichols, there as they set the play up.
As you see Boyce coming across here, Jones moving, then look at the slot position. Starts just a touch early, moving back. Hard to tell there with the snap, but 2 of the receivers outside.
Illegal
Those guys
on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
2 guys that are away, when they're away from the ball, away from the quarterback, they're listening for that snap count. They have to think like defensive linemen do. Receivers, they have to keep their eyes on the football, and they can't move until that ball is snapped if they can't hear the snap count.
Well, those Cal fans ready. They are here and ready to roar on a football Saturday. 2nd down, quick passes complete. Nice move. Tyler Hart came jetting in from the side, had a block, and he's across the 30-yard line. The tackle is made by DJ Holt, the sophomore middle linebacker.
Nice block by Chris Powers. Watch him right here at that guard spot. He's going to get the kick block that clears it, and that gets a nice little running lane inside, able to scoot up and gets the extra yards.
Boy, it appears sometimes that the receivers are having a hard time hearing the calls from the quarterback as the fans bring the noise. Nichols steps up and tucks it. Eludes a man and has a 1st down. That's a good individual effort by the senior quarterback.
And he's going to have to do that today. Cal, across their defensive backfield, matches up extremely well. He checks 1, checks down for 2, and then he sees he has green grass in front of him. With an opportunity to move the chains, you move the chains. And sometimes quarterbacks, you think, oh, they're passers. The guy who's the real team leader takes off when he has room, too.
For Bo Baldwin's team, that first possession was a nightmare. They seem to have settled down, though, with their 2nd possession of the ballgame.
Looking much more efficient, a senior quarterback, a guy who's been there before. This team is showing right now that they're not intimidated coming into Memorial Stadium.
Tyler Hart up the middle, back to the line of scrimmage, maybe. Might have lost a yard. On the inside, Derek Hill made the big hit. He's from Oakland, McClymonds High School.
And it's a swarm of blue. Look at everybody close into the center. No place to go in that middle. Tyler Hart just absolutely swallowed up by the Bears. Derek Hill very intelligent at that nose tackle position.
Pump fake. Nichols goes long. Has Boyce. Makes the play. Aaron Boyce with a big gain, and Eastern Washington is moving the football on their 2nd possession.
Syd'Quan Thompson, Cal's #1 corner, one of the top corners in the country this year. He was looking for the interception, the pump fake, and Syd'Quan jumped it That gave Boyce the step to run downfield. Syd'Quan, not a 4-3. He's fast on the outside, fast enough to play corner, but he doesn't have that blazing speed, couldn't make up the step.
Boyce with 6 catches a week ago against Western Oregon. Makes a big catch there, and then it's Eastern Washington to the ground. That was a 35-yard pitch and catch between Nichols and Boyce. This is an impressive second drive by the Eagles. And Boyce, the Big Sky Player of the Week last week. And Mike, you pointed out the great relationship he has. Jeff Tedford alerted to the situation in the sideline. He must have some concern. His defense that was so dominant in the win over Maryland. And the Eagles able to move. Nichols to the air. Pass is complete. It's Tony Davis. His 3rd catch of the ball game. He's out of bounds inside the 5.
Very impressed with this senior quarterback. He's a leader. He has a nice arm. He is poised in the pocket. With pressure coming, he steps up. He'll make the pump fake. He uses his eyes. He does all the things you have to do to be successful. 2 years ago, he was the Big Sky offensive MVP, and he's showing it right now versus the Bears.
Play fake, Nichols to the air. Touchdown, Eastern Washington. They're able to find Grant Williams, the freshman fullback, and the Eagles fans can celebrate.
Well, you knew that this team was going to get some points. Offensively, extremely efficient. We talked about it. Versus Texas Tech, number 12 last year, they scored 24 points. They almost beat Colorado last year. It ends up 31-24 in the end in the loss. This offense is efficient. And Coach Bo Baldwin said, I want them to be efficient. I want them to play fast and execute, play hard. And if we do that, we'll be successful.
Mike Jarrett with a point after, and this game is tied. 11 plays, 83 yards. And we are tied in Berkeley. Tonight at 6 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, it's Burger King Sportsnet Central. Finally, in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Go deep with Burger King Sportsnet Central tonight at 6 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. With Mike Pulaski, I am Jim Kozimor. That is a fine how do you do for Eastern Washington on their second possession. The quarterback, Matt Nichols, goes 6 of 7 for 74 yards. On that last drive, he throws a touchdown pass, and we're tied.
Very clean, and let's give credit where it's due. That offensive line for Eastern Washington doing a nice job of keeping the blue jerseys off their quarterback.
Mike Jarrett will kick off. Back deep to receive, Jeremy Ross, a senior. And that kick bounces up. That could be a dangerous play right there. It is loose. And bodies collide. Boy, that's a dangerous play there.
Obviously, Eastern Washington doesn't want to kick the Cal's deep guys. You've got Shane Marine and Jeremy Ross back there. Both great speed guys. They don't want to kick deep. They want to keep it short.
Let's go down to the field. Christine Nublo.
Jim, I asked Coach Tedford earlier this week if psychologically it would be difficult to motivate Cal to play Eastern Washington, considering they're an FCS team, and he told me it shouldn't be. Tedford knows that in these types of games there's always a potential for a letdown, but he said he told his team this game would be a challenge of their maturity. Defensive lineman Mike Tepper also added that Cal won't look any team this season.
Javid Best burst through. He had an alley and took it across midfield. He's near the 40-yard line. A 27-yard burst for Best.
And when you try to put pressure on as a defense, this is what happens. Watch everybody come up, and they're going to try to hit that run, try to stop it in the hole. As soon as they do, Best is going to get that lane, and then he's down the field. With his speed, you got to tackle him the first time. You can't react going forward. Because of his speed, you have to react going sideways and ensure the tackle.
And for the 25th time in his career, a gain of 20 or more yards. First down play fake. Riley up top. Has Tucker. End zone. It's knocked away. Moran Tucker Tucker, the 6'1" senior out there, defended nicely the corner. Jesse Hoffman was right outside. He was with him stride for stride and knocked it away.
Very close. Riley is a right-handed quarterback. Why does that matter? He's throwing to his left. He's got Tucker on the outside. You need to start that ball outside. Watch how Tucker has to come back to the middle to get that ball. Ends up behind him. If he starts that ball out wider, Tucker can look over that outside shoulder and keep the DB off him. He doesn't get his hands in there. Instead, the ball takes him to the middle, and the defense can make a play.
Tucker did a great job in the victory over Maryland on the 73-yard touchdown run by Best. It was Tucker who went 73 yards himself to throw the big block on the play, and that's a good job of the Eagles defense. They come in and knock down Javid Best.
Mekhi Borden in there to make the tackle, and I told you before, if you bring pressure, you got to make sure you make the tackle. That time, Eastern Washington coming through, and watch this pressure coming in the backfield. Guys getting upfield. A swarm of red and white around Javid Best. You need to gang tackle, and that time Eastern Washington showing up at the point of attack.
Third down for the Bears. Pass over the middle, incomplete. Over the head of Tucker. Again on defense, Jesse Hoffman. And Cal will punt the football.
Eastern Washington showing their pressure package, bringing the blitz. They brought 6 that time, and they're going to bring them from different angles. They ended up with only 5 in coverage, but Riley not able to find the open man downfield and be accurate.
Brian Anger, a 6'4" sophomore, 3 punts for a 43.7-yard average a week ago against Maryland. He's on the watch list for the Ray Guy Award. He's going to angle one, see if he can drop it inside the 20. And that ball bounces at the 1 and goes into the end zone. It was a nice effort for Cal as they tried to keep that ball in, but they just could not do it. Go to calbears.com, calbears.com for more information. ESP seating area at Memorial Stadium. Good crowd on hand today. What's it like to play in this stadium when it's all packed in?
When it is packed and loud, it is as crazy as any place in the country. Cal fans recently especially, they've averaged over 60,000 a game. They love their Bears. They scream and yell, and it puts so much energy into the stadium.
Little hitch in the throw, and then the pass is behind the intended receiver and falls incomplete.
Nichols back there trying to pick up where he came from before. These guys, last series, doing a nice job of forming that dish. Nichols feels comfortable being able to step up into the pocket, 3 hitches, steps up, and then delivers it. Now, his specialists, the guys downfield, have to get open for him.
No huddle offense. They've done that a lot here in quarter number 1. Nichols, quick throw underneath to the tight end, Nathan Overbay, and he runs through a defender near the 30-yard line. He's near a first down for the Eagles. You like this tight end, the 6'5" senior.
Any quarterback that doesn't like Overbay as a tight end is insane. Big target. Great hands, maybe the best hands on the team. He runs very nice routes, and you're going to get the mismatches with him. This time, just running the tight end delay on the right side. Steps back to block, comes out, gets the ball, give him the ball, move the chains, get it in your big man's hands.
Big third down. They try to force it forward on a sneak.
Both spots, both officials have him spotted in the first down, so that's going to be a first down.
They're going to unfurl the pile.
And Coach Gregory has been trying to get it done just by rushing. There you see all-time versus football bowl subdivision schools, 7-17 record, but lost the last 7 straight for Eastern Washington. Coach Gregory he's going to start to dial up a little bit of heat. You're going to start to see some of that blitz package. You're going to start to see backers coming. Got a little blood working over on the sideline. Guys getting their forehead stitched up.
They give to the freshman Grant Williams. He caught the touchdown pass on the previous possession, and the freshman picks up a couple of yards.
I'll tell you, the media and everybody else has been writing off Eastern Washington all week long, saying, oh, you know, what do you expect to come in? How's it going to happen? And And we talked to Bo Baldwin. He said, hey, we're coming in to win. We're going to execute. We expect to win. Every big game we go in expecting to win. And right now, Eastern Washington believes they are going to win this game.
Well, they like that as part of this program. They're not afraid to play the big schools. Nichols with a quick pass to the side. Tony Davis is there to make the catch. He's been the primary target here in the first quarter for the quarterback, Nichols. And Davis moves the chains again. The ball spotted at the 41-yard line.
Davis very good at that slot position. 53 catches. He's a good player. He's a guy that you work inside again. You don't want to go up against these marquee corners. You have Hagan, you have Syd'Quan Thompson. You work the ball in the slot to your tight end, and that's where you're going to find your openings.
Short drop, and the pass is over the head of the intended receiver, and it looked like Syd'Quan Thompson had timed that one on a lower ball. He might have been going the other way.
If that ball was on target, that was going to be 6 points going the opposite direction because Syd'Quan was right there on the throw. Nichols going for Nicholas Edwards at that wide receiver spot. A big guy outside, matched up against Syd'Quan Thompson, and he actually got lucky. He threw that ball away.
The 5'9" senior from Grant High School in the Sacramento, California area. And a great return man as well. Second down coming up for the Eagles. Complete to Davis. And Thompson wraps him up at the 44-yard line.
Going 3rd and long now. Talked to Bob Gregory yesterday. This is when they put in their sub package. It's the nickel. You put in the 5 DBs across or 6 DBs, nickel or dime. But this is when he loves to play with the blitz and the pressure. It's when you bring guys, you don't see it coming. Oftentimes he uses what he calls his up package. Guys standing up in the gaps, moving around. I wouldn't be surprised to see him dial something up.
The pass is complete. Nicholas Edwards, a freshman, makes the catch. He's shy of the first down. Josh Hill making the stop, the redshirt freshman from Houston, Texas. Bo Baldwin with a decision to make, and he'll punt the football. Syd'Quan Thompson back to receive. Making his 41st start this year. You know, it's interesting. They're having the quarterback punt the football. They list Cameron Zuber as the punter. Syd'Quan from the 11. Gets cut down at the 25-yard line. Good job. Special teams getting it done. 36-yard punt, 9-yard return. The Bears will have it when we continue. Cal Bears working hard on a Saturday afternoon. Eastern Washington has hung tough with them late in the first quarter. You know, Javid Best gets all the attention, and rightly so, but you're going to hear the name Shane Vereen an awful lot. It's lightning and lightning. A lot of speed in the backfield.
Oh, they are so fast. It is the fastest two-back combination Coach Tedford told us yesterday that he has ever coached. Both these guys qualifiers in the 100-meter State of California High School Championships. You look, the yardage, total yardage, 170 yards to 178 for Best, very close. And when Shane Vereen comes in the game, you don't drop off.
Cal with a football. Trickery.
Nice.
Javid Best has some blocking. Gets outside. It's a foot race. And they blow it back. He was out of bounds at the 45-yard line. He'll go all the way to the house, but they'll call it back.
What a great design. What a great design on that play. I love the play design. Andy Ludwig bringing that in with him. I've never seen Jeff Tedford use that. You're going to see Best lined up outside here. He's going to come. Vereen's going to start like they're running the toss to the outside. Riley's going to open and toss it to Best, and then lead block to the right. Faked out our cameras. It was so good. I love the misdirection play design. It's a toss counter before anything even starts, and that is great offense.
What a day for Javid. 5 carries and 69 yards after that 30-yard carry. Now it's Vereen's turn. Holly in motion. Shane Vereen. near the 40-yard line. And you're right, there is not much drop-off when Vereen gets out there, and they always seem to have a couple of different backs who can hurt you. But Javid Best with an absolutely spectacular burst of speed, and there's the damage that he can do. He can really go on some long gallops.
Oh, he's a big play guy. His speed's so incredible that as soon as he gets an edge, he's gone downfield, and he makes those huge plays.
And they spread him out wide. They had him isolated against the corner, and now he moves back behind the quarterback. It's Best. Bounces off one man, a first down for the Cal Bears. You know, the 73-yard run that he had in the game against Maryland, a lot of people look at the speed. That was actually a run, though, inside the tackle.
It was, and he found the edge. He found the cut, made the cut up inside the tackle, as you said, Coach, but then exploded down. And the reason why, look at the big bodies up front. You have a jersey on a jersey, and then Best able to shed the first tackle. Usually the smaller, faster backs can't do that. Best adds that component to the game of being strong as well.
It's Best again. Shifty. Pickup of 8.
Cal runs a combination of an outside zone style running offense combined with the power offense. When they have the fullback in the game, they're usually going to run something out of that power set. When they have just a single back, it's that outside zone look, and they run it extremely well.
Quarter number 1 is over. Eastern Washington hanging tough with the 10th-ranked team of the nation. The second quarter is on the way on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Second quarter about to begin in Berkeley. With Mike Pulaski, I am Jim Kozimor. Christine Nubla works the sidelines tonight on Comcast Sportsnet. Make sure you stay tuned. More college football on CSN California. Montana takes on UC Davis. They've got a beautiful facility in Davis, California. And the UC Davis Aggies hoping to improve under Coach Bob Biggs.
Coach Biggs, a heck of a football coach out there. Alumnus of UC Davis, a guy who's in his hometown. I'm sure he will pick that program up, get them back up to championship standing that they're used to.
Well, they had so many great seasons of playing over 500 football. They had been such a competitive squad, but that Montana game, always a good one. That's tonight on Comcast Sportsnet California. The pitch out to Best. Looks for an alley. A good job of the quarterback to stay tight. Dante Calcote was there. He fought off a blocker, and he eventually made the tackle. That's a nice job by the cornerback.
Yeah, being physical on the outside. You have to be able to shed blocks, to stand your ground. That was an excellent job by that defense of Eastern Washington. Watch them string it out. Keep running it to the sideline, Use the sideline as a 12th man. All those white shirts pursuing. And then Calcote at home to make the tackle. That's good defense.
Vereen out of the I formation had a little bobble on the handoff, and he's down at the 15-yard line. That interior line doing a good job. The linebackers, J.C. Sherritt for Eastern Washington, stuck his nose in there. You know, Vereen can put some offense on the board for you as well.
Yeah, he is a great running back, but also one of the most gifted receivers on the team. You use him in that screen set, get him out underneath, and what you want to do is both with him and Javid Best, get them the ball in open space. Let them use their speed. Let them use their moves. Andy Ludwig told us he tries to use personnel wisely, use them to their strengths, and he does that with Shane Vereen.
It was Jones in motion. Pass complete to Holly. Inside the 5-yard line, Brian Holly, the senior, making his second career start, but doing some good things with it. He's made a couple of nice plays after the catch and some good yardage picked up.
And we talked to Andy Ludwig, like I said yesterday. He said our fullbacks are blockers first, they are receivers second, and then they run the ball last. That's the last thing on their list is to run the football. Holly has been very effective as a receiver so far in this game.
Jones to the far side, Tucker to the near side. Shane Vereen, the lone back. It's Vereen. He didn't get in.
But down to that 6-inch line with 2 more downs to get it.
from the safety spot. Matt Johnson was in there to make the final stop.
Wide splits by that offensive line for the Bears, being so close to the goal line, spreading out that Eastern Washington defensive front a little bit, allowing Shane Vereen to find a little crease inside. The Bears trying to use their power running game right now.
2nd down and goal. Sparks in motion. Vereen to the end zone. Touchdown, Cal Bears.
And it's Vereen off tackle right and Vereen off tackle left. Come back right with it. The isolation play. Vereen getting inside. An easy walk into the end zone.
3rd touchdown of the year for Shane Vereen. He could pick his spot that time. It almost looks like he was anticipating contact. It never came. He went right into the end zone. And the freshman, Vince D'Amato, now 9 for 9 in point after touchdown. There's a flag down on the field. Let's take a look again at the touchdown run. You can see Vereen kind of tense the body. He thought there was going to be some contact, and then he waltzed in.
You have to expect contact. You're on the goal line. There should be bodies in that hole. Instead, it was just a walk-in.
Well, the flag down, the officials are going to confer. And it appears that that flag came down after the point after conversion, so maybe extracurricular after the play.
Originally, the flag was for running the kicker on the defense. However, that defender, number 17, was pushed into the kicker. Therefore, by rule, there was no foul. Disregard the flag.
It sounds like when the principal's telling me about how my son was acting at school. Well, he didn't actually hit him the first time, but he got pushed into it, and it started this whole thing. Wow. That almost looked like kind of European Soccer League dive there by the kicker, didn't it?
Yes, it did. You get a yellow card for that, don't you?
Red card. There was contact, but football players generally stand up through contact.
But Shane Vereen, with his 3rd touchdown of the season, has given the Bears a 14-7 lead. The Giants' playoff push is in full force as they face their rivals, the 1st-place Los Angeles Dodgers, tomorrow on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Brad Penny takes the hill against his former team in what is sure to be an emotional start. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. with Giants pregame live, only on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Well, they have some fun out there. They're having a good season. The Giants are surprising a lot of people.
And Penny looked nasty his first time on the hill, so he brings a little something with him up there.
And going up against his former team, that should be fun. Giorgio Tavecchio puts it in the air. And on the return, Taiwan Jones tries to get ahead of steam and then gets pushed back. A 21-yard return for Jones.
And one of the question marks coming out of that Maryland game was the kickoff game, both the kicks and the cover. Average kick for Tavecchio last week started on the 17. That's not good. If you're a kicker in college, you need to hit that thing down to or into the end zone. You need to get the big kicks. Coach Tedford took them this week and said, shorten it down. You're getting underneath the ball. You're not hitting it on rhythm. They're trying to change things, but still the ball is not getting down to the goal line.
Let's see how the Eagles respond. A pass that never had a chance as he tried to hit Tony Davis, but the quarterback, Mike Nichols, threw it behind him.
I don't think Nichols ever got his hand on that ball comfortably. It looks like when you get the shotgun, you get it in your hands, and watch his hands. Never quite got that ball comfortably where he wanted it, and so it came out tipped down, a heavy ball, hard to throw. A little bit wet on the field from the rain earlier. I think it just kind of slipped in his hand.
Little shovel pass on the inside. It's Tyler Hart to the 40-yard line.
Again, I want to give credit to this offensive line for Eastern Washington. They are moving the ball. If you think about a football championship subdivision versus the number 10 football bowl subdivision team in the country, they shouldn't be getting serves. They shouldn't be getting that push. But right now, Eastern Washington is playing at a high velocity, and they are moving the football and getting people off the ball.
That group of Jackson, Foamy, Powers, Myers, Thomas on 3rd down, giving Nichols the time to complete the pass. pass and a first down. Tony Davis, his 5th catch of the ball game, and he's in Cal territory.
And the Bears coming with their 46 look. When I say 46, that pressure package, you think of the Bears with Jim McMahon, the Chicago Bears, that is. That's their pressure look. But that offensive line doing a nice job creating that dish for a quarterback to sit in, and then they're spreading the defense out for the Bears, getting wide on the field and creating gaps.
You know, the blitz package they threw at Maryland was very effective with 6 overall sacks, 5 in the first half. That time, Eastern Washington, a good job to pick up Jared Price. This time, Nichols has to buy some time, and then he throws it away.
Smart play by the quarterback, senior leader out there. If you don't have anybody, it's first down, throw it away, come back. You're moving the football on offense, so give it out there to the sideline and come back, don't take the shot.
And you wonder what's going through the mind of this Cal defensive front. They were so effective, 11 tackles for loss in the game against Maryland, and they haven't been able to put on the same type of pressure, aside from the very first possession of the ball game for Eastern Washington. Nichols to the tight end Overbay. Good job to hang on to the football. And he's to the 36-yard line, rather. And it'll be 3rd and short for Eastern Washington.
Part of this right now, too, is the fact that Cal is not showing a lot. They're showing a very vanilla look for Eastern Washington, and they're showing a lot of zone. Overbay just down there finding it.
Ball knocked loose and scooped up by the Bears. It's a foot race. Can Jones get him? Taiwan Jones with a touchdown-saving tackle off pressure applied to the quarterback. They get the sack and the fumble.
Well, as I say, they're being very vanilla on defense. What do? They bring secondary pressure. They show blitz. They say, we're going to end this now. We're bringing heat. And there's off the outside, Mike Muhammad, one of the young linebackers that people were asking about before the season start, puts his head down and absolutely drills Matt Nichols, creating the fumble and the turnover. And that's an easy scoop and run towards the end zone for the Bears. That is the aggressiveness that we are used to seeing out of that Cal defense.
There's that pressure creating the turnovers. The give is to Javid Best, and he's to the 1-yard line. You know, good job by this defense. Last year, the Cal defense forced 34 fumbles in the season, but a good job on the blitz that time. And then it was Kendricks off to the races.
Receivers were one of the question marks for this Cal team. Marvin Jones knocking people's helmets off, not just in the route, but he's playing hard. I talked to Jeff Tedford about him. He said his growth has been fantastic to watch, and he is nasty. He loves to block as much as he likes to catch the ball.
Best bottled up by the interior front of the Eagles. That's a very good job by that Eagles front line. Give credit to J.C. Sherritt. He had 15 tackles the other day from the safety Matt Johnson. Both players in on that.
And just that same play that they scored on with Shane Vereen last time, this time Best not able to find a hole, gets piled up.
3rd down. Holly in motion. They pitch out to Best. He lost it. It's on the turf. Who's going to get it? Did Cal come up with a football? Wow. It looked like 2 and 3 white jerseys were around the ball.
That is simply a lack of concentration, and I guarantee you Jeff Tedford not very happy about that. One of the things they do is they do not put the football on the ground under Coach Tedford. And Javid Best simply took his eyes off the ball. And when he did, he wasn't able to make the catch.
Off the hold from Brock Mansion. The freshman Vince D'Amato with a placement at the 9. The kick on the way is up and good. A 19-yard field goal for D'Amato. He's now 2 for 2 on the year. But for Javid Best, just took his eyes off the ball. Cal comes up with 3, but they're lucky to get those.
We're back at Memorial Stadium, where Cal is leading Eastern Washington 17-7. Hello, everyone. I'm Christine Newblove. Well, Coach Tedford's relationship with offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig actually dates back to the mid-90s. When Tedford was the offensive coordinator at Fresno State and left for Oregon, it was Ludwig who replaced him in Fresno. Then when Tedford left Oregon for Cal, Ludwig replaced him at Oregon as offensive coordinator. Coach Tedford told me it has been a great transition having Ludwig at Cal because they speak the same terminology, so they don't have to spend extra time explaining what certain plays are and how they should be executed. Guys?
Christine, thanks very much. Taiwan Jones spins his way near the 30-yard line.
Each football offense that you run is like a different language. So every time you go to a new system, you have to learn an entirely new language to be able to converse in football. These guys ran the same system everywhere, so he doesn't even have to explain play design. But on top of that, they used the terminology from the University of Oregon, where Jeff was the offensive coordinator under Mike Bellotti. Take that terminology here to Cal. Andy Ludwig steps into it. It's a perfect match.
The Eagles trailing 17-7, but they've done a good job when they've had the football. They've been able to move it. A pass over the middle, incomplete. Tried to hit the tight end on that play, Nathan Overbay.
Coach Bo Baldwin told us before the game, I said, offensively, how do you attack this blitzing pressure-style defense? He said, well, we've seen certain things on film where we can lock them into certain defenses that we want to face. And they're formationing. They're using the formation to get the Bears into looks that they want to see, that they feel they can be effective against right now. They're doing an excellent job of using formation.
A play right into the line, third down coming up. And for this Eastern Washington team, they have not been very effective running the football. Just run the ball 8 times in this game. And aside from the turnover on the previous possession, they've played well against the number 10 team in the country. A third down. Let's see what Cal does defensively. And a flag goes down.
On the offense, number 72, 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Well, it just made third and very long, difficult. At 7 to 8 yards, you can throw an out route, you can throw a curl route, you can complete the short stuff or the options with your tight end and get the first down. Now that you move back to 3rd and 14, you're in trouble. There's nothing that reaches that without a 7-step drop.
And you give the defense some more options on what they can do. Part of the reason for the miscue on the Eagles side is there was a lot of finger pointing as Cal was moving around defensively. Here they come. Pressure and a pass underneath to Davis. Has a block at the 35. He goes down. The ball pops out. The Eagles pounce on it, but they say it was down beforehand. Shy of the first down, so Eastern Washington will have to punt the football.
A little screen by Eastern Washington, receiver screen underneath, allowing that defensive line to clear upfield, and then trying to replace them with the football. Well executed, but not quite enough to move the chains.
4th and short. They're going to go for it. From their,
they're going to try to use snap count right here.
From their own 38. They go to the quarterback sneak.
Wow.
Prior to the snap, timeout on the defense. Timeout number 1, University of California.
Absolutely shocked that they went for that so quickly. I thought they were going to use snap count the whole way.
Timeout.
And even Coach Gregory wonders what's going on with the timeout. Immediately following every Raiders game this season, change the channel to Comcast Sportsnet California for Raiders Postgame Live. I'll be your host, and with me will be former Raider Bill Romanowski and sports talk legend, the great Tony Bruno. Raiders Postgame Live premieres Monday night immediately following the Raiders-Chargers game. The Raiders game isn't over until we say it is on Comcast Sportsnet California.
Are you kidding me? Kozimor, Romanowski, and Bruno?
That's a group right there.
That is an insanely talented group.
And have the great Jamie Sire out at the field. 4th down and short. Rolling and throwing, incomplete. The quarterback, Matt Nichols, was under pressure as he rolled out and tried to force a pass in.
He had absolutely nowhere to go. You talk about blanket coverage. The Bears were in the hip pocket of every Eastern Washington receiver downfield. Tyson Alu down there chasing down Mike Muhammad in the hip pocket. Perfect technique. And there were 2 more receivers flowing the same direction that were all covered as well.
So Cal will have the football. Good field position for them. Javid Best, the lone back. After the defensive stand, we'll see how Cal responds with their first play out of the change of possession. Riley has time now, has to step up, and he'll run inside the 30 to the 25-yard line. It's almost like he wanted to hang on a little bit longer to see what else he had to do.
I think he was thinking about pitching it to Javid Best. Right here, Marvin Jones in the middle running the post. He could stick it in that window, but he came off that route early. There was a free safety over the top. He'd have to sit somebody down with the ball, but he could have stuck it in there.
Pac-10 today, Stanford a tough loss at Wake Forest. Washington putting a big number up on Idaho.
UCLA up over Tennessee, though.
Javid Best. Oh, what a play by the safety. Coming charging in. J.C. Sherritt came flying in and made the stop. He had a big week last week. A 15-tackle week. Last year, a 15-tackle game against Montana.
Best getting to the outside. Nice job again by the white shirt, stringing that along. Keep it moving sideways. Don't let Best pop that vertically. If you can string it out, you can get more jerseys to the party and try to make that tackle.
Almost 100 yards already. He's gone over the 100-yard mark in 5 straight games, Javid Best has.
And just about at his average from last season, averaged 8.1 per carry last year, which is an insane number for a tailback.
Cal basketball fan season tickets for men's and women's basketball are on sale now. Visit calbears.com today to get the best seats at the best price. You know, these fans will be out there, both men's and women's basketball, expecting big things. We saw the women's team out here earlier today at Memorial Stadium. Nationally ranked club. We approach the 6-minute mark here in the second quarter. Riley to the end zone. Javid Best. Touchdown Bears.
You end up with Javid Best, the fastest back in the Pac-10, matched up against J.C. Sherritt, a linebacker. Finding mismatches is what this Jeff Tedford offense does so well. They find a way to get the backs into routes, use that speed, use that ability. Perfect example of it right there. You should never try to cover Javid Best with a linebacker.
Point after by D'Amato is good. Yeah, that's just dirty pool right there. You send Best out to the wing and have him go one-on-one with a linebacker.
Sherritt has to match up. It's called a wheel route. Best coming out, making it look like it's a receiver screen, and then he wheels up the sideline, and basically it's just stealing. If you're going to run a linebacker against him, you might as well give it up early. But again, we talked about Eastern Washington using their formations and motions. Cal using its formation package to try to get the matchup it wants. There's a little cub, Golden Bear cub out there rooting on her Bears.
Boy, that's the atmosphere. College football right there, and they're having some fun now. It was a little bit lukewarm in here in that first quarter when it was 7-7, and Eastern Washington was moving the football.
But with the history Jeff Tedford has here, last 7 seasons, 60-30, 7 winning seasons, 6 bowl appearances, they expect greatness out of this team. And when they didn't see that huge offensive show that the media has been talking about all week long, it got a little flat inside the stadium. Now they've gotten a little energy back into it. Bears up by 17 points. They're feeling a little better about this offensive show.
On the kickoff, I think that's more of what you expect on your special teams.
You want to talk about knowledgeable fans? Did you hear them when the ball made it down inside the 5-yard line? The whole stadium actually started applauding the kicker for making it down inside the 5.
And it was Jones who was down. His knee went down just across the 15-yard line. And Jeff Tedford has done such a remarkable job with his Cal program. You mentioned all the bowl appearances. They have won 4 straight bowl games, including the Emerald Bowl last year. But the Emerald Bowl isn't the target for this club, is it?
This year, Cal is my dark horse national champion contender before the season. Okay, I wanted to see what the receiving corps looked like. I wanted to see what the quarterback play was going to look like. I think speed-wise, they have the speed to run with anybody in the country right now.
Nichols across the 20-yard line. Good job by this quarterback. He's been back there in that pocket. He's had some time today when he's had to tuck it and go. Not afraid to be smart with running the football. You can tell this senior, this isn't his first rodeo. He's done it before. We saw the graphic earlier in the game at Texas Tech last year. He threw it 61 times.
Yeah, and again, the great leaders, the great quarterbacks, they get it done however they have to get it done. Right now, Eastern Washington right there with Cal in terms of total offense.
Nichols, 16 of 23. They give to Jones, and Taiwan Jones just shy of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd down for the Eagles. It's a shame for Taiwan Jones. He has about 50 friends, family, church friends that he has here from the area. Antioch, California. Comes in a little banged up on that shoulder. I think he might have hoped for a better outing here on this day. You don't want to come back home a little banged up. You're not giving yourself your best chance. Those numbers not at all representative of what he did last week. His first touch of the game, his first touch as a running back, went for 87 yards and a touchdown.
Man showed some absolute wheels. He got in the secondary and nobody was going to catch him.
Timeout. Eastern Washington University, timeout number 1.
So on 3rd and short, Eastern Washington wants to talk it over. They trail 24-7 to 10th-ranked Cal. Cal leading 24-7. 4:49 remaining in the second quarter. First down for Eastern Washington. Matt Nichols, who's had a busy day at quarterback, over the middle to his tight end, Nathan Overbay. And he's across the 40-yard line. Boy, that tight end Overbay, he really does a good job of finding the open spaces.
Great job, and they're playing that 2 Tampa look. It's DJ Holt, number 3. He's a linebacker, playing deep in that center field position, trying to cut off that deep throw down the middle. Instead, Overbay coming underneath, filling the hole that you leave when you run that linebacker out of there. That's excellent game planning on behalf of Eastern Washington.
Nichols has to roll. Throws on the run. And we'll wait for the signal. Looks like a catch is made. Boy, that was Matt Martin over there on the side. Martin listed as a tight end. He got over near the sideline in front of the Cal bench. Stayed in bounds. And Nichols with a nice throw on the run.
Nichols getting out to his right, evading Mike Muhammad to start. Doing an excellent job of getting out there. The question is, did his foot go out of bounds? As soon as he goes out of bounds, he is no longer an eligible receiver. That left foot looks like it's out of bounds to me. And this is going to be reviewed.
There you go. It may be reviewed, and they'll stop it, and I think they will. You know, we talked to the guys in the review booth. Boy, they are serious about their rules, their interpretations.
Oh, absolutely. Watch that left foot. It's not out there. When he drops, though, that's on the chalk. He's out of bounds.
Is that conclusive?
He's no longer an eligible receiver.
Well, is that conclusive? His knee was down. Do you actually see his
right
there?
There he is. There it is. Left foot's out. He is not an eligible receiver anymore.
All right.
And you are looking at the replay booth right there. They have some high-powered officials. A lot of these guys used to do my games when I was back here at Cal. Some of the best officials that have ever come through the Pac-10 in that booth right now.
So for Matt Martin, the tight end, they'll wave that off, or they appear. Let's see if we can get that one more time.
Stop it right there. That's the foot on the white line. He is out of bounds, no longer an eligible receiver.
Still a nifty catch. It just will not count. And a good job by the replay booth. They noticed it, and they sent the signal down.
Great job in the truck to pick that up.
I'm going to give credit to the replay guys more than the truck, I think. What do you think? Is it a team? Is it a team event with the replay? Look, they continue to go over it. They're very serious. We were having a very serious discussion.
There was a play in the Michigan State Central Michigan game this morning, which a Michigan State receiver came down with the ball, had possession, and we went through 3 different interpretations, got the most modern ruling on it, and it came down that the officials on the scene were right with the first call, the initial call. So. But, you know, it slows down the game a little bit, but it does make sure that calls are accurate. Every play is reviewed by replay officials during the game. So they're watching all the replays up in the booth, and they check every game.
And this is a case of technology where it can help a game, and it is a great job by the truck and by the crew to get the right pictures at the right angles, because really the guys in the replay booth only have that stuff to work with that the TV truck can give them, and the truck gave them a good shot with a foot out of bounds. Now, I'm not certain why it's taken them so long if they've been able to see that shot.
Trying to figure out what the clock should be set back to in terms of the time for the clock. So, you know, in terms of the replay rule, they're going to review every play. They can stop the game at any time before the ball is put into play for the next snap. And they're looking, this is the real-time view. The official's looking for a clock time so they can reset the clock.
Now that's precision right there.
Very good.
Good work.
After further review, it was determined that the receiver's foot was out of bounds when he caught the pass. Therefore, by rule, the pass is incomplete. Eastern Washington ball, second down on the 44-yard line. Timer, please set the game clock to 4 minutes and 22 seconds. 4:22 on the game clock.
And that's how it works. You have the technology, you have the communication, and then the signal for everyone.
Or as they say in Ghostbusters, they have the tools and they have the talent. That's how it's supposed to work out. You get the call right on the field anytime it affects play.
All right, Beckman.
Thank you, sir. Just watched that the other day with my son, so I've got Ghostbusters stuck in my head.
Well, things were scary early when the game was tied at 7-all. Eastern Washington actually playing quite well. Aside from their first possession of the ball game, they have really shown well against the number 10 team in the land. It's Nichols with a flag going down. The pass is complete to Aaron Boyce, but the defense just swarms all over him.
The flag down in that holding zone, and as much time as Nichols had back there, I was going to guess that was the call. That's a lot of time back there for a quarterback. Even with an all-pro offensive line in front of you, somebody had to get held.
Holding on the offense, number 72. Penalty declined. Down will be 3.
Nikolai Myers, big man, doing a nice job up front. But then it gets outside his body. You know what? They rule that a hold all the time. As an offensive player, I've got to say, that's not a hold. He took him down, did a nice job, just twisted him to the side. But because it's a takedown, they call it a hold. I understand the ruling. I understand what the official saw. But my lineman used to always complain to me about it, that they didn't hold him.
Third down. Here comes Cal. Nichols steps up. The tight end Overbay will be shy of the first down. Syd'Quan Thompson was there on the stop.
When they go to that nickel package for the Bears, Syd'Quan moves inside over the slot receiver. The tight end Overbay inside as a receiver. You get a mismatch in size there with a corner versus a tight end. He should be able just physically to use his body to get open.
The Eagles will punt the football, and they do have Cameron Zuber back to punt, a 6-foot junior. Syd'Quan Thompson back to receive.
Took too long.
Looks like there was some confusion out there. In fact, the quarterback Nichols stayed out there for a moment thinking he was going to punt the football.
Delay of game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Well, Cal had their punt safe team in there. So they were going to be wary of the fake pump by Eastern Washington. Now that they've been moved back 5 more yards, they're bringing in their pump block team. I think they're going to give you a look up the middle.
Syd'Quan ran one back last year off the left-footed boot, and Thompson calls for a fair catch. Cal came out blazing early, and they've been able to put points on the board after a close start. They're up 24-7, but that offense is explosive.
Came out, drove down to the goal line. Kevin Riley putting it over quarterback sneak, and then Marine untouched off left tackle, and then the wheel route. You get job at best matched up against the linebacker. I'll take that bet any day. Perfect pass delivered by Kevin Riley. Now we get to see him back out here and see if he can engineer something with just over 3 minutes left.
3 minutes and a second remaining in the first half. They run the screen to Best, and that's a good defensive play. The linebacker, J.C. Sherritt, shooting in and knocking down Best.
Same guy that we saw Best beat on the goal line in man-to-man coverage, just coming back and making the play, a shoestring tackle. An excellent effort by that linebacker.
Well, Javid Best has shown some great spurts in this game today, and then a couple of tough situations. He had a fumble earlier on a pitch. Of course, made the nice catch for a touchdown. He's had a couple of long runs. One for 30 yards. There's a pass over the middle. It is complete. The tight end Anthony Miller, the sophomore from Mitty High School down in San Jose.
And Cal getting low on tight ends. They lose Tad Smith in camp to a knee injury. They lose guys during the year. They're down to 3 tight ends now, but they like Miller. They say he's a good player in there at that position, but they're very low on bodies.
Spencer Ladner had a hamstring earlier in camp. He got banged up against Maryland. We've seen the redshirt freshman Jared Sparks. Skylar Curran also a tight end. Riley, the pass is complete to Marvin Jones, and a first down for Cal near the 40-yard line. We were told this week how much Marvin Jones has improved, and he just loves to play football.
Loves to play football. I talked to him yesterday, and he's a guy that just loves to go out there to mix it up. Extremely competitive, and the biggest thing, he believes that when that football's in the air, it belongs to him.
Pump fake by Riley. Throws one up high. Incomplete as Varan Tucker went up to try to get it, but he bobbled it as he was going out of bounds. You know, Tucker, we mentioned it earlier. He had that big block on the run that Javid Best he scored against Maryland. But it was Tucker who ran just as far, 73 yards, and continued to throw that big block that allowed Best to go the distance. That was a great block by Tucker.
And one thing that Jeff pointed out is that this group is really playing hard. They blocked extremely well in that first game. They were extremely physical, which is not usually how you describe your receiving corps.
On second down, and Riley just wants to throw it away. There was a hit as Shane Vereen got popped from the backside. What a good job by this Eastern Washington defense.
Well, trying to set up that screen, you see Cal's offensive lineman downfield. So Riley has to throw it behind the line of scrimmage. Smart job to spike that ball at his feet. Outside the tackle pocket, Shane Vereen right in front of him. Headsy play by Riley not to throw it downfield because it would have been an ineligible receiver downfield.
Riley 7 of 11 throwing the football. Has pressure, and he'll go down back inside his own 30. Boy, the defensive front doing a good job as they come in. Williams made the stop.
Just a big push coming up the middle right here. Just keeps coming with that bull rush. Keeps coming with that bull rush. Shane Vereen could not get the chip on him. Just turned his shoulders, kept moving upfield. Kevin Riley stepping right into it. But nice job of driving the offensive lineman backwards for the 6'2", 300-pound defensive tackle.
That's a big sophomore right there. He's got a little energy working too after the sack. Good job by Renard Williams as Riley stands on the sideline, and Cal will talk it over. The Oakland A's say goodbye to the Metrodome as they take on the Minnesota Twins tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. on Comcast Sportsnet California. Since 1982, the Twins have played under their Teflon roof, but will move into brand new Target Field next season. The final A's game at the Metrodome tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. only on Comcast Sportsnet California. It's a nice looking ballpark. I've been to the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. It's right behind the Target Center, Target Field. It'll be open air in Minneapolis. Can you imagine April baseball in Minnesota?
I was going to say, it's good that they play baseball in the summer because I've been back there in the winter, and it's cold. A lot of snow on the ground back there. I was a rookie in the NFL. We played the Vikings up there, and it was about 300 degrees below zero, Coach.
Ooh, that's cold.
Really cold.
That's a lot of degrees
You're from
below
up in
zero.
that country.
That's fine. That's light jacket, windbreaker weather. Brian Anger with a 56-yard booming punt. That sends Eastern Washington back to their own 14-yard line. 1 minute and 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Stick around halftime. Sportsnet Central, our halftime report. We'll have a special feature on a guy who was spectacular in week 1. Ernest Owusu picked up a couple of sacks in that game. First half highlights and numbers, and now we've got flags down and a lot of finger pointing when the flags are down, Mike.
Always finger pointing. Defense is always trying to say, hey, they drew me offside. The offensive lineman saying, hey, he came across.
Offside on the defense. Number 44 entered the neutral zone, causing the offensive team to false start. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And it's been a few years, but that is actually a newish rule in college football. It used to be those guys could jump offside as long as they got back onside, they wouldn't get the penalty. Now, when they jump into the neutral zone, it's an infraction, which is more fair to that offensive line.
How about this for discipline? For Cal, that's the first penalty called against them on this Saturday. Nichols to Overbay, and he takes the high-low as the linebacker came in. That's a nice hit by the middle linebacker, DJ Holt, to come in and roll the tight end. So Cal will stop the clock. Overbay 5 catches in the ball game, 51 yards. The Cal going to use some timeouts and see if they might be able to do some damage here with 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. The Bears up 24-7 in this game, and the quarterback for Eastern Washington has been busy.
And the Bears have the whole sideline, the whole defense huddled up on the sideline. That's one of those moments where defensive coordinator Bob Gregory calls everybody up and says, we are making a stand right here, right now. This is a gut check. I want to see you guys turn it up.
Second down and short. Jones gets stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage. And Cal will stop the clock again.
Good pressure inside. We talked about Owusu. Look at him using that strength. Strongest defensive lineman for the Bears. Benches over 450 pounds. Squats, I think it was 600. And that's a lot of plates on either side. When you see the iron bar that you put those plates on start to bend across somebody's back, that's a lot of weight. And that bar was definitely bending across his back.
And he is 6'4". That's a long way to go with that much weight. Whether you're on the bench, you got those long arms, you got to punch it up.
And long arms, too. Add to that with that bench. Long arms makes it hard to bench heavy weight.
Yeah.
Talked to Bob Gregory, and he said the light just came on for him. Halfway through camp, and quite honestly, they didn't expect him to come out and have the coming out party he did versus Maryland, but he showed up, and Bob Gregory's very happy about it.
Played in 6 games off the bench last year, and now they're going to come at Nichols. The pass complete to the tight end, Overbay. He gets stopped immediately, but he has the first down. The linebacker, DJ Holt, there to make the stop.
The Bears out of timeouts, but with the first down, I wouldn't imagine they'd call him again anyway.
Under a minute to play in the half. Nichols, incomplete, and a flag comes down. Looked like Nichols wasn't sure if he wanted to hit the man on the short route or the longer route. He threw it in between.
Well, he put his hands out, And he was looking for the short route to reach up and try to grab that ball. I was like, why didn't you reach up and try to grab it? It's right there above your head. So watch the shallow flat. You're going to have a deep route, and then your running back, Tyler Hart, is in there as well, running the short flat. And Tyler Hart just never put his hands up. Hart thought that he was throwing the ball downfield.
On the offense, number 9. 10 minutes before it's half the distance to the goal from the previous spot. Still first down.
Wow, we just saw that route. He bumped into a defender. Will they call it pass interference?
I can't say as I saw any pass interference there. There was a jam at the line of scrimmage as he was trying to fight his way off.
Now there's a bump here.
He's downfield. He's trying to get off the jam and get back out of his route, but the ball wasn't in the air when he did it. The ball has to be in the air for it to be pass interference. And he was getting checked beyond 5 yards anyway, so.
Yeah, it was Chris Conti, the player that he drew contact from, or created contact with, might be a better way to describe it. So first down and very long, 43 seconds remaining in the first half. Taiwan Jones spinning to the 20-yard line. Clock will continue to move.
Trying to get that screen to the outside. Use again the speed like I talked about with Best and Vereen. Taiwan Jones very fast. Trying to get him in open space with the short side screen. But that defensive line for Cal flying around, getting to the ball, making plays.
Jones got pulled out of his boots that time, so they take him off the field. And now well, they're going to let it wind down, and that'll be it. First half will come to a close. Eastern Washington, it was a good performance for their quarterback, as Matt Nichols, 22 of 30, at one time had this game tied at 7 apiece. But Cal has turned it around. The defense creates the turnovers. The offense able to punch it in. And the Bears lead 24-7 over the Eagles at the break. Let's go down to the field. Here's Christine Nubla.
Here with Coach Tedford. Coach, you told me this game would test the team's maturity. How do you think they've answered that test so far?
Well, it is testing it. We got to play better in the second half. We're giving up too much on defense, too many third down conversions, and then we didn't put it in down there on the goal line. So we got to stiffen up. We got to have a talk at halftime, make sure we come out sharp in the second half.
Can you assess the type of game Javid Best is having so far?
He's having a good game. You know, I mean, it'd be nice if he didn't step out of bounds over there, but you know, he's getting loose and he's doing his job. We need to be better at the offensive line. They've had too much penetration a couple times.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Up to you.
Thanks, Christine. Coach Tedford not very happy. Some people going to get an earful in just a moment, but they score 17 in the second quarter, and the Bears, number 10 of the country, leading Eastern Washington 24-7. Cal leading at the half on Eastern Washington 24-7. Let's go down to the field. Christine Nubla has the coach, Bo Baldwin.
Coach, you told me that your team wasn't going to be in awe coming into this game. How do you feel your squad handled themselves in the first half?
Well, I thought they did a great job, and I don't think anyone was in awe. You know, they came out and competed, and it's against a great team. I mean, this is a top 10 team in the country for a reason. Someone who's going to contend, I think, for the Pac-10 championship right up there with USC. So I was very pleased, especially when we came up and we obviously sputtered at the beginning with the kickoff return and getting pinned in our deep, but then we came back and answered with a nice little drive, tied it up at 7. And then there was a play or two where I wish I had back, obviously, where I think we, possibly could have kept it a little bit closer, but, we move on from that, and now we're just looking to fight for 30 more minutes and see where we're at.
Your offense has accounted for 7 points. Can you tell me what's going to be important here against that Cal 3-4 defense?
We just have to be really sound. You just have to take everything they're giving you. They're really stout against the run game. They're big, strong, fast, physical, and now they're starting to, their safeties are starting to sit a little bit deeper, after hitting them with something over the top early on that first series that set up the score, second series actually. So we got to keep taking what they're giving us, and we have to get a little bit more of a run game. And it's tough sometimes when you're down 17, but you have to be able to establish a little bit more of that as well.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you very much.
Back up to you.
All right, Christine, thanks very very much. It was a good first half for the quarterback from Eastern Washington, Matt Nichols. And on the Cal Bears side, everyone keeps their eye on what they call simply the best, Javid Best. He ran for 98 yards in the first half of play, and his name gets thrown up there when it comes to Heisman conversation. Just how legit is Javid Best in that conversation?
He absolutely has to be part of the discussion. The only running back really up there with the top 4. Sam Bradford, shoulder injury, he's out. He's off that list now from here on out. He was, preseason one of the top guys. He's going to miss a bunch of games. Colt McCoy, of course, very good down at Texas. Tim Tebow already has one of those trophies, so obviously he's a big pick. But I think Javid Best, as a receiver, as a running back, as a multi-purpose guy for what he does for Jeff Tedford's offense, has to be in that discussion.
And one thing when it comes to getting into that conversation is you sometimes have to have sexy numbers.
Oh,
and there's something in there. Exactly. You got to get some of those big games, don't you? You got to eye pop.
You have to. And I asked Jeff Tedford about that yesterday. I said, look, you've got a guy who's a Heisman contender. It would mean a lot for recruiting here at Cal. It would mean a lot for the program. Obviously, it's a team award when you get it because you're not good. You don't get it if your team's not good. Would you think about getting him that 200-yard game? Would you think about trying to get him those ridiculous numbers? And he said, no, we're thinking about winning football games, and if we do that, he'll have those numbers.
Ran for 137 on national television in week 1 of the victory over Maryland. He's almost at the 100-yard mark. He's done it 5 consecutive games. Cal will have the football to start the second half. Jeremy Ross and Shane Vereen back to receive for Cal. They're not going to give up where they're going to go, though. See how they work that, Mike. They got the stack formation, and then when they're ready to kick off, they'll split.
But the scary part is, no matter who you kick it to, they're both extremely dangerous back there.
That's pick your poison, isn't it?
It is. Those guys both extremely fast, dangerous runners of the ball.
Mike Jarrett puts the ball in the air towards Vereen. From his 13, got a gap, and takes it, breaks a tackle, and he's out near midfield. A 34-yard return by Shane Vereen sets up the Cal Bears to start the third quarter.
Very nice job blocking on that return. You want to get a hat on a hat is what these coaches say, and Cal does that. You see this line kicking out that way, clearing a center gap for Vereen. He finds it, he gets through it, he explodes, just not quite enough. A good tackle coming from behind by Beaumont.
All right, let's check killer instinct on the side of the 10th ranked California Bears. They're up 24-7, have the possession to start the second half. Javid Best goes over the 100-yard mark with this carry, and he's deep inside the Eastern Washington Eagle territory to the 33-yard line. Last year, Javid Best took some big hits, and he got an injury, too.
Yeah, well, one of the knocks on Javid has been that he's an injury-prone guy. Watch him put his hand down there. Hyper-extended that elbow. Every time I see it, it makes me flinch. It hurts. A nasty injury. You see it buckle back right there. Elbows aren't supposed to bend that way, but came back, had it in a brace, and had the season he had the majority of the games playing in that brace. 6
straight games now. Best has gone over the 100-yard mark, and for the 10th time in his career he does, so they give it to Shane Vereen on the second play of the second half. Now, wait a minute, Mike. We talk about the hand-down drill for all backs. Well, you're telling me that time the hand-down drill didn't go the way you hoped.
Oh, that's not what you're hoping for when you put your hand down his back. He put all of his weight on it. He got tackled. It wasn't just, I'm going down, I'm going to keep myself up. That was all of his weight on it. But again, he got 1,580 yards last year. Did it mostly with that brace on his elbow.
Returns as the back with the most yards from the previous season. And certainly a Heisman hopeful. On the reverse. Oh, make a miss. That was a shifty move as the Cal Bears have a big pickup. Looked like Will Kapp on the carry. Make that
Safele in there. You say Safele, and watch this move. I've got to say, I believe that deserves a whoosha. Whoa, make him miss. Wow. I need to get more support for my dress shoes because I almost broke an ankle watching that. That was nasty.
That is shifty, and they just keep giving you more backs. A pass out on the flat to Best. And he does an end over end and goes down. You know, was that a pass or was that actually a lateral?
That was a lateral the way it went back to him. I think it's designed as a pass, but instead Riley ends up throwing it backward. And look at Best. Remember what we saw last year, putting that arm down? Very gingerly. He didn't put the weight on it. You notice that? He didn't put the weight. It was still just a fingertip plant, just enough to get his head underneath him, so he didn't land on the top of his dome.
Second down, and Cal moving the ball well. Their first possession of the second half. Kevin Riley moves up, throws, pass complete, and stopped just shy of the end zone. Marvin Jones. Nice tackle by Matt Johnson, the safety. He came on and held on tightly.
Early on here, when Riley was younger, he was at his best when things broke down. He was athletic. He throws well on the move. Now he's gotten his game to the point where he's very good in the pocket, making his reads. But when things break down, he's still very good at remaining a passer and finding the open man.
Very efficient day for the junior quarterback from Portland, Oregon. Javid Best to the end zone. Touchdown, Cal Bears.
And with Javid Best around, you're going to hear that cannon a lot in Memorial Stadium. Behind that offensive line, just powering, surging, moving everybody across the goal line. And they may have to rename that Javid Best Memorial Cannon after he leaves this place, because they loved watching him play when he was running here.
No one can shoot him down now. He's been getting it going. Big numbers for Javid Best.
When we talk about running back and under Jeff Tedford, look at this. Every year, 1,000-yard rusher. Igbert, Echamondu, Arrington, Marshawn Lynch back-to-back. Justin Forsett, Javid Best. And all these guys, except for Igbert, were a backup to the guy ahead of him the year before. Just like Shane Vereen is right now to Javid Best. They always have a stable of two great running backs, and Tedford has really turned Cal into tailback youth.
And remember, Tedford is known as the quarterback's coach, and he has the great running games. What does that do for recruiting when he's trying to get a great back?
Well, he is a running guy, and if you look at the numbers, obviously he's going to bring these guys in. I think you recruit against a team like USC, right? They have great backs. Everybody's talking about what a great stable of backs. Well, guess what? Their top guy ran for 715 last year. It's got to hurt you if you're putting 6 guys on the field. You're not going to have a 1,000-yard rusher, but Tedford always features 2 and will get 3 or 4 on the field.
Giorgio Tavecchio sends one deep on the return. Nicholas Ramos across the 30-yard line for the Eagles. And they'll have their first possession of the second half. My guess is, if you're a Cal fan, you're happy with the killer instinct. First possession of the second half, and the Bears look like the number 10 team in the country.
Yeah, you come back and you go for it. You're efficient on offense. You drive the ball down the field, and you put it in the end zone. That's what the Bears are expected to do in this game.
And now let's see if the defense torques it up. Matt Nichols, the quarterback, the senior from Cottonwood, California, was very good in half number 1. And this Eagles team was very efficient. Their head coach, Bo Baldwin, telling us before the game, talking about clean formations, a throw underneath, the pass complete to Tony Davis, and he goes down at the 40-yard line. Davis, the primary target so far today for Nichols, but they pointed out in the last couple of years, in the Colorado game, the Texas Tech game, Davis caught 20 balls combined in those 2 games, and he took a shot here.
Brett Johnson bringing the heat. That's what it sounds like from the middle of the field. Oh, that is great contact. Hits with the face mask and the forehead. Uses his whole body as a battering ram. That's a guy who's not afraid to throw his body in there.
Yeah, Johnson from Las Vegas, Nevada. You're gambling with yourself if you're going to go toe-to-toe with him. Johnson, a 6'1" senior. Made his 12th career start in this one, coming off a career-high 7-tackle game against Maryland.
Now Simmons, the defensive backs coach, talked to him yesterday. They have a whole bunch of seniors and juniors in that defensive backfield. Maybe one of the best defensive backfields in the country this year.
Tyler Hart Short of the first down. The Cal defense appears to have held.
We saw how Jeff wasn't going to throw his team under the bus, but he wasn't very happy with them in that first half. He came off and said, we've got to improve. We've got to get better. Both sides of the ball, he thought, needed to pick it up. So far this half, they are showing that they can pick it up.
The Eagles will go for it on 4th down. A sneak for the quarterback Nichols. Did he push forward enough? Let's see where they spot it.
The spot, to me, looks short.
For one official, on the far side of the field, it looked like that spot was short. Near side may be different. They might pull the sticks out.
They have to reach the 43-yard line.
Yeah, that looks shy.
So that's where the sticks are on the far side. First down marker is at the 43 stripe.
Yeah, Bo Baldwin unhappy with his spot.
I think they're going to miss it by about 6 inches. What you don't think of as you're on the sideline, you look at it, the quarterback, when he runs, he's not running with the ball where the point of his helmet is. He's got it in his arm. He's got it tucked underneath. So it's a good 2 feet back from the tip of the helmet. So the spot never looks as good as it is when you're looking at the quarterback running.
Yeah, Nichols was trying to plead his case. They do come up short. And the Cal Bears defense does the equivalent to what the offense did. The defense got to stop.
And that's huge.
Because remember, Eastern Washington was able to move up and down the field in the first half. They did a very good job. 18 minutes time of possession of the first half for the Eagles.
We just saw Bob Gregory. He said, you know what? They're using formations to dictate to us what we're going to do. We're going to come out now, and we're going to start to dictate on defense what you can run against us. We're supposed to have the speed. We're supposed to have the talent in this game. We're going to come through right now, and we're going to show you what we can do.
There's a challenge here as they want to see where the spot was on that last placement of the quarterback sneak from Nichols and see if they can get the ball moved somewhat and maybe get another check. Let's get a replay and see. I'll explain here
Pivotal
again,
moment.
Mike.
Here's the quarterback's helmet, but remember the ball is going to be down here. It's underneath him. It's not at the full extent.
They have also used their coach's challenge.
And so there you have it. Replay rules, they can challenge, but they have to use one of their timeouts in order to do it. If your challenge is overruled, then it doesn't count. If your challenge is confirmed, I should say, if the call is overruled, then you don't burn that timeout, they give it back to you. But if the call on the field is confirmed, then you burn that timeout. So now Eastern Washington burned a timeout to try to go for the challenge, and they have no more coaches' challenges left.
On the first possession of the second half, the Bears took it to the house. This is their second possession. They lead 31-7. Javid Best cutting through the teeth of the defense, again running inside the tackles, and he picks up 8 yards. Boy, he's got the fast feet. He goes inside the tackles. Again, when you have the speed, a lot of people think you're just going to go around the end and outrun people.
Well, John Graham, we talked to him before the game, just before he met with Coach Baldwin. So far, done a pretty good job of being aggressive. He likes to dial it up, though. He likes to get blitzes. He likes to bring pressure. And this half, they haven't been able to do it.
Flag is thrown on the play as Best is caught in the backfield. A good job by the defensive front. Charles Motului, the sophomore, makes the stop. Let's see what the flag is all about.
Offside on the defense. Number 95 moved into the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. Yardage gain results on a first down.
Coach not real happy about that. It's much easier to get in the backfield if you're moving before the offensive line is.
That gives you a bit of a head start.
So you're going to see far side here. And I don't see any movement on that defensive line.
If anything, he was late getting off the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a penalty.
If he was aligned in the neutral zone, now we couldn't tell from the side. If he was aligned in the neutral zone, that's still a penalty. But he definitely didn't jump into the neutral zone.
Riley has pressure, tries to get the ball off to Best. He's able to, and now Best will do it by himself. Inside the 20.
incomplete
to the
pass.
15. Is that an incomplete pass or is that a lateral?
It looked to me like an incomplete pass from the booth. I mean, Best doing an amazing job. Watch the replay. Riley thinking, I'm going to get rid of the ball. He's going to throw right there. See, he's trying to throw it. Now, does it go backward is the question. It looks like that may have been a lateral.
And they're going to run a play as quickly as they can, so they cannot review the play. And they give the ball to Shane Vereen, and he goes down. It'll be second down, and now we've got players going at it on the side. Marvin Lewis with a takedown, the wide receiver for Cal. Marvin Jones, rather, I should say. Jones with the takedown.
Very physical. Talked to Coach Tedford about him. He said he loves to block. It's amazing how physical he is out there at that receiver position. Getting a little frustrated today, I'm sure.
Let's see the contact on that play as they were roughing it up. Cal quick to an offensive set. Under 9 minutes remaining in the third. Underneath, the pass complete to Vereen. He's inside the 10. Let's get to the contact on the previous play with Marvin Jones.
Out there blocking, doing a nice job getting into the DB. They see a couple head slaps that Marvin wasn't very happy about. You get whacked in the helmet, and all of a sudden that changes things.
Yeah, Dante Calcote went at him up high, didn't he?
Yeah, he was trying to slap the hands away, but he got him in the helmet. And that doesn't make you very happy as a player.
Third down for the Bears. Riley throws. The pass is complete. Caught by Anthony Miller, the tight end. And he's got enough for the first down for the Bears. It'll be first and goal for Cal.
It's a short pass, but what you're seeing from Riley is improvement. Last week, you're going to see Miller just coming up with a quick tight end option, the out. Last week, Riley was a little hesitant. He would have hitched on that throw. This week, he's throwing on time. That is so essential as you move forward in the season and you're playing teams that are faster and faster, that you be on time with your throws.
Shane Vereen. Touchdown, Cal Bears. Vereen with his second score of the ball game, and the Bears on 2 possessions in the third have punched it in both times.
So a little slow to start in the first half for the Bears. A little slow putting it all together. But here in the second half, they've been good on offense. You see bodies flying through. Cifelli running through, and Vereen getting the handoff underneath. A little counter action. There's so much motion, so much movement in this Jeff Tedford offense. Sometimes on defense, it's tough to get focused into the point of attack.
For Vereen, his second score of the game is 4th of the year, and Cal starting to roll against Eastern Washington.
You've got E.C. Cifelli outside as a wide receiver for the Bears. I talked about the misdirection of his Bears offense as they go up 38-7 versus Eastern Washington. Watch him come through on the motion. They used to use this receiver to block. Right here, he gets to the outside. He's trying to freeze the outside linebacker, keep him from getting into the play, falling in. All he has to do is hesitate him for a second. Rather than blocking and bringing those bodies into the mix, it's just an influence block with play action.
A ball that bounces up for Taiwan Jones. He tries to get it going. The Antioch, California kid can't get outside, gets run down by the special teams, and now flags start flying. You know, Cal's really starting to roll. For Jones, he comes in as a sophomore, really hoping to do more, both with his family and friends. Here in attendance, he's got over 50 in attendance. Let's hear the call.
Personal foul. Number 83, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Brinson Brown taking out a little frustration in this game. There's Pete Alomar, special teams coach for the Bears. You can see a swarm of Bears, and they're coming out of the backside late on the play. Brown landing a nice pop out there. On Ryan Davis, and that's just unneeded at that point.
Well, it certainly is. You know, they say the game is in 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams. How important will special teams be for Cal? You picked them as your dark horse.
Yes.
As a possible national championship contender.
You have to be extremely talented in all phases of the game. If you expect to win a national championship, you have to have excellent defense. Defense wins championships, they say. Well, offense and defense have to counter each other. You have to have excellent offense and excellent defense, or one has to be the counterbalance for the other. Special teams is the X factor. If you're bad on special teams, you won't win a national championship because you can't make up the difference in the yards and the points that you give up in that regard.
Special teams last week did a good job against Maryland. They forced a fumble and recovered that fumble. They also gave up a couple of big returns. Looking at the AP top 10 and how the teams stack up, Florida sits atop, Texas right there, USC with a big game against Ohio State later on, and the Cal Bears sit at number 10 right now.
They broke into the top 10. Oklahoma State with a big loss today. They are probably moving out of the top 10. They lost to Houston, so top 10 going to be reorganized a little bit next week as well.
Seen a lot of that so far. It's such an early part of the season and already a bunch of eye-opening games.
Yeah, BYU beats Oklahoma. Oklahoma State gets beat by Houston. I mean, you've got some big-time teams getting knocked off.
False start on the offense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Now, there's another area of the game in which you have to be good. The discipline area of the game for Cal. 1 penalty for 5 yards so far today.
Very good discipline for the Bears. And on the outside, you got to hold your poise. We talked about it early in the game. Receivers have to watch the football. You can't go on snap count. You have to go on movement of the football.
That's a good day discipline-wise for the Cal Bears. A throw over the middle. The pass is complete to Overbay. He makes the play. They have a new quarterback in the game. Jeff Minardi, a 6'1 freshman, comes on after Matt Nichols' long day, and it was a good day for Nichols. 23 of 31 for 195 yards. So a good game for him. And now they bring in the freshman, and wow, what a place for a freshman to come in. Big crowd, big facility, big game. You're down 38-7.
But this is a great time to get him experience. If you have to turn to him later in the season, he has had that big-time experience in a game like this. A lot of pressure against a great team.
Cameron Zuber, the left-footed punt. Syd'Quan Thompson takes it on the run, takes a shot, doesn't go down. That's a good rough return. He earned those yards on that return. Syd'Quan Thompson with a return of 14 yards, and the Bears will have the ball. Tonight at 6 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, it's Burger King Sportsnet Central. Finally, in-depth sports news for the Bay Area fan. Go deep with Burger King Sportsnet Central tonight at 6 p.m. on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. With Mike Pawlowski, I'm Jim Kozimor. Christine Nubla works the sideline for us.
There's Ron Gould, coach running backs here at Cal. We talked about all those 1,000-yard rushers. This man had a huge part in all of that. An excellent coach for Jeff Tedford, the assistant head coach here now. And just done a fantastic job with the running backs over the years here at Cal.
And here's one of them, Shane Vereen. He lost it going out of bounds, but a big pickup. And these backs have had some big holes to run through today. That offensive line has done a great job as they've continued to move on, especially here in the second half. But the linemen doing a great job in this one. There's your guy, huh?
Moving it up front, getting it done, finding holes for these backs, moving the line of scrimmage. That's what they're supposed to do. As you pointed out, Coach, young, outside of Tepper, who's the only senior and a 6-year senior at that, they're young up front, but they're experienced.
They shift. In motion, Miller. Vereen with the carry, and he gets taken down. No, you mentioned Tepper, a 6th-year senior. That's interesting. You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. And he's had some issues here at Cal. Came in as a freshman, redshirted. Came back, played a year, developed, was pushing guys for a starting job. Then in his sophomore year, he is escorting a friend, just a friend, a volleyball player here at Cal, down to go have some pizza, and guys start harassing her. He gets run over by a car that these guys are in, and they drag him for 30 feet underneath the car, ends up breaking his fibula in 4 places.
Wow. Riley throws to the end zone, knocked away.
Nice job of Vereen just to break that up. But to come back to Tepper, so he has to overcome that injury. Obviously, misses a year with that, trying to rehab. He said, but the rehab went well, kind of came along. Then he got post-traumatic stress disorder. He was waking up every morning to the image of being run over by that car when he broke his leg. And so he's waking up to that, stressed out, had a little bit of depression from it, came back from that, and played again.
The senior from Cypress, California, works that left side, always the tough. That's the money job on the offensive line. The pass is complete as Nyan Boateng went up and got it. Made the play, got knocked down immediately.
But landed on the DB.
Yeah, and then got up and went. Did a knee go down?
I didn't see it contact the turf.
You know, J.C. Sherritt, the linebacker, has done a very good job in contact today. He's beat up. Let's see this here.
If his elbow touched, that's the same as the knee.
Good instincts, though. Yeah. Give Boateng credit. He tried to sell it.
He did. He was trying to get in the end zone.
Short of the first down. They'll try a field goal. The freshman, Vince D'Amato. He's perfect on the year, 2 for 2, and now a flag goes down.
Just to kind of...
There was no foul for legal participation on the defense. There were 11 players on the defense.
The official was just winded. They wanted to slow the game down a little bit.
That's a good move by the official.
Very good.
That's a smart official right there. Now they'll place it for D'Amato. Off the hold from Brock Mansion. The ball at the 19, a 29-yard attempt from the right hash mark. The freshman misses for the first time in his Cal career. He won the job just a week of the Maryland game. And he's been good until there, but Cal with a big lead on Eastern Washington. Oh, the fans are loving it in Berkeley, and Cal, number 10 of the nation, starting to pull away from Eastern Washington. The Giants' playoff push is in full force as they face their rivals, the first-place Los Angeles Dodgers, tomorrow on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. Brad Penny takes the hill against his former team in what is sure to be an emotional start. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. with Giants pregame live, only on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area. And the freshman quarterback, Jeff Minerty, fires a pass on the run. It is complete on the near sideline. That's a nice sliding catch. And another catch for Tony Davis. He has had a busy day. 9 catches and 75 yards. But again, there's a flag down to the play. Davis, the senior, who again has been in these big games against some big schools, so it's part of that group that Coach Bo Baldwin told us that we're not going to have the awe factor. And in half number 1, they certainly didn't. They played quite well. Bo Baldwin using these types of games.
Pass being thrown, personal foul, face mask on the defense, number 40. 15-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
Using these games, as the penalty is called against Cal, we'll get a look at where it came.
Zapote on the inside, playing that linebacker position. And he just grabbed. I didn't get it real clean, but grabbed the offensive line's face mask. You see him as he got off. Just got in there and grabbed that face mask. So good catch by the official on the interior line to see that.
Yeah, hand to the face. Looks like his hand almost got caught in the small bars and got stuck in there. Minerty with the give. Daryl Beaumont up the middle. But getting back to this Eastern Washington team, they use some of these games against the bigger opponents. They prepare for the Big Sky season. This is a good effort for them. I think they should be happy as they get closer and closer to league play.
Well, you never want to talk about a moral victory to your team. You always expect to go in and win. But if they execute, if they play hard on every snap, that's what Bo Baldwin told me was going to be a successful game for them. They're coming in expecting to win, but execution. If they get out-athleted, they get out-athleted. That's what happens. But if they play hard and they execute, then that's a win.
Flip underneath, pass complete. Brinson Brown tried to cut back against the grain, but the defense just kept coming. And then it's a team meeting on top of Brown. Well, you got a lot of bodies over there making some stops. Bryant Nabufi was over there. The junior, the 6'1 junior from Houston, Texas.
And seeing a lot of those second string guys now, some fresh, clean jerseys and clean pants making their appearance in the game, getting some valuable playing time, some experience.
Underneath, and the pass is incomplete, and a hit applied either way. Davis could not hold on. Still finished the hit. Michael Kendricks came over, the sophomore for Cal, making sure that that ball wasn't going to be held on.
Well, you're going to get hit either way, so you might as well make that catch. He talked about it. Davis already showing up with 9 catches on the day. Kendricks putting a hit on him. Coach Tedford told us Kendricks is probably the biggest playmaker. He is athletic out there. What he needs to get is some discipline in his technique and to be in the right position every time, and he can be a special linebacker.
Back deep for Cal, Jeremy Ross off the left foot boot of Cameron Zuber. And it's Ross with a fair catch at the 30-yard line. Let's go down to the field. Christine Nubla, what do you have for us?
Well, while competing against each other during training camp, Cal kickers Giorgio Tavecchio and Vince D'Amato forged a close friendship, mainly due to their heritage. Both are Italian and share similar roots, which has created a rivalry at times, guys. Tavecchio is from Milan and D'Amato hails from Sicily, and the two usually banter back and forth about their hometowns. As for the competition between the two, they say it's healthy for them, and that, quote, whatever happens, happens. Forza Italia, which means go Italy, of course.
Hey, we're coming up on the World Cup. I'd like to hang out with those two for some of those Italian games. Team Italia, they're always very good in the World Cup. Oh, Sicily, Milan. You don't want to mess with that.
No, yeah, rivalry. Exactly. That rivalry it goes a little deeper than here in the States. Both these guys, D'Amato, Coach Tedford told us, was driving the ball purely, sticking it through the uprights, no hook to it. And Tavecchio obviously winning that kickoff job. And no matter what you do, once you get to the college level, there's always going to be competition.
For Cal, they stay with their starting quarterback, Kevin Riley. It's Shane Vereen in the backfield. He tries to move off tackle, and they hang on to the footwear, and he goes down.
Coming in, trying to make a play on the inside, find a gap. That's the way you hit the hole as a linebacker, showing great instincts. Bobby Gentry just weaving his way in there, finding the crease.
In motion, Skylar Curran. Quick throw, Curran, the tight end, has the first down, eludes one man, and he's near midfield. That was a little dangerous. He kind of lifted that ball up a little bit.
He had the whole Superman thing going. You ever watch the motocross where they do the Superman, hanging out there, football out and hands out? Curran already a big, tall target to begin with at that tight end spot. His first catch of his career here at Cal went for a touchdown last week against Maryland. And now has to be more involved in the offense.
Well, as the tight end group narrows down, Jeff Tedford said Curran has done some good things. The 6'4" tight end has the catch. We head to the fourth. Cal leading 38-7. Boy, it feels like deep in fall. Overcast skies, had some rain showers overhead overnight. Boy, they just came in. It was a little misty today. Look at that. Still is beautiful, though.
Definitely time for football here in Strawberry Canyon. No place like it.
Kevin Riley, the starting quarterback, has had a very good day, an efficient day. He's an interesting character as well. In motion, Marvin Jones. Play fake. Riley steps up, goes deep. Got a man. Boateng gonna get there? No.
And it's because Boateng coasted. Riley had him when Nyan Boateng came out of his break, he took 2 steps and looked back and started coasting in his route, thinking, I'm not going to get the ball. Riley threw it like he was running full speed. These are the communications that you need to have. Watch Boateng right here. He coasts. Oh, wait, I got to turn it back up, and tries to crank it back up at the end. Those 2 steps, just the coast, the glide, you can't do that. You have to run full speed because your quarterback is expecting you to be going top speed. He knows your time, how fast you can run. He's trying to lead you.
Timing so very important, and out of the shotgun, Riley. Over the top, pass is complete. Anthony Miller, and he's got a first down to the 20-yard line. Now, how do you get that timing? What's the best set of drills you can use to get timing with quarterbacks and receivers?
You need to throw with your guys. The Bears used to throw a lot of 7-on-7, which is offense versus defense. The players would organize it and run it. You see Anthony Miller running a nice seam route down the middle. Again, another one of those routes where you have to be on the same page with your receiver. Andy Ludwig came in and said, hey, how about if we just throw against air? Get these guys running routes so that you develop timing with your quarterback, and you have to get the reps. As a result, Riley was able to improve his timing with all of his receivers this year because he got the reps. You've got to throw 500 to 1,000 balls to each guy before you feel comfortable with what he's going to do on each break.
Now, that was a well-thrown ball and a good look off that time by Riley. That's a catch right there. Jeremy Ross got to make that catch.
That should be a catch. One of the ghosts in Jeremy Ross's past is he will drop balls. Coach Tedford not very happy about that. 2 great throws by Riley, 2 mistakes by receivers. Those should have both been touchdowns.
Ross from the Sacramento area, Elk Grove, Laguna Creek High School. They got good football up there. And Elk Grove, nice play. Riley had a bobble, then a misdirection, and he's inside the 5-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for the Bears.
Riley says, fine, you don't want to catch it, I'll keep it myself. As a coach, that's the option. The quarterback right there has the read option. He can hand that off inside if a defensive end comes down. If a defensive end comes down here, quarterback keeps it. You see the defensive end chase down. Riley keeps it. This late in the game, you run that so that other teams have to look at it on film and they have to prepare for it. That will open up other plays later on. Plus, you get your man Riley into the game plan.
Boy, Cal running the football very well. 1st and goal. Shane Vereen to the end zone. Touchdown.
Didn't have much choice but to hesitate, a couple pause steps inside, and then explode through it again. A nice hole opened up by that Cal offensive line. An excellent patience by Shane Vereen.
3 scores for Shane Vereen. All of them very similar. Look at that. He stops, waits for the contact, and then he just stumbles
forward. Short, choppy stutters, let that hole clear by, and explode to the end zone.
The point after is good. D'Amato remains perfect on the season on the point after touchdown.
And a lesson for receivers, if you don't want to catch it, the running backs will get all the touchdowns here at Cal. So Vereen, beneficiary of 2 mistakes by receivers there. Those are the kind of things that the coaches have to address. They have to talk about these guys. If they want to be sharp, they're going to look at that in film and say, we have to improve here. And your comparison, Javid Best, probably not going to see the field again. 145 yards on the ground, 19 catching the ball. And Shane Vereen doing his bit, 3 touchdowns.
Now, you remember last year, Vereen rushes for 715 yards and 5 scores. And you look at the backs and how good they are at Cal. And it's that speed factor, the fact that these 2, you just move. You get one off the field, you think you can exhale if you're the defense. You can't exhale.
Oh, you absolutely can't. You know, it's had Shane Vereen won that 100-meter dash, you know, the time in high school, then maybe he would have been the starter here. But I don't think you drop off much, if any at all, by putting Shane Vereen in the game instead of Javid Best.
And on the return game, good return.
Live, lightning from the sideline right there, and they're having a good time today. Both those running backs doing a nice job and have to be happy because their offensive line is moving people around, opening holes.
Yeah, a lot of smiles on the sideline, doing a good job. You know, they ought to go over and talk to that offensive line. You're right. You got to talk to that offensive line. You got to pat them on the back and say thanks.
Well, and the great thing, too, about these guys is sometimes when you have those prima donnas, the backs that run hard, they don't work hard. These guys work as hard as anybody in college football. Jeff Tedford said that Javid Best shows his respect for the team by working hard every day in practice. And as a result, his team respects him for that, and Shane Vereen is right there with him step for step. Great work ethic in that Cal backfield.
Cal has put 38 unanswered points up on the board, and they lead 45-7. And another penalty against Eastern Washington. And that's another area that Cal is really excelling today.
Formation on the offense. 5 offensive players in the backfield. 5-yard penalty, previous spot. Still first down.
Cal has not hurt themselves much today, while on the other side, Eastern Washington, they've got 9 penalties for 51 yards that have gone against them. Cal just 2 flags thrown against them in the day. And the fans of Memorial, they should be very happy. It just feels like football is in the air. Boy, Cal has been really good. Offensively, very even. They've run the ball very well. They've got such strong backs. They've thrown well. The quarterback, you give credit to the job that Kevin Riley has done as well. There are going to be times, like last week against Maryland, he puts up big numbers. There are going to be times when they rely more on the run.
Absolutely, and having that balance allows you to take advantage of whatever the defense is giving you. That's the point on offense. You take what the defense gives you. Talking to Andy Ludwig, offensive coordinator for the Bears, he said, hey, offense is all about personnel and how you utilize them the best. Well, playing offense of the game is taking what the defense gives you and utilizing your talent.
Matt Martin with a catch over the middle. And there is Riley. Last year competing a lot with Nate Longshore for the starting quarterback spot. Riley got 9 starts, was 7-2, but he always was battling for time.
Well, and again, it was their play. Neither one of them was able to get very consistent in the year. They'd missed the pass that they shouldn't miss. They'd throw the really inopportune interception, and they weren't consistent. I talked to Kevin about it earlier in the week, and he said his confidence just wasn't there. But this year he feels a lot more confident coming in, and so far he's establishing himself as the firm starter.
Went over the 2,000-yard mark passing today. The rush is on, and the sack is created. Jared Price came in and was able to pull down Jeff Minerty. It's the 3rd sack of the game by Cal.
And the Bears just dialing up a little bit of heat on that defensive line. They bring it. They're going to bring pressure off the edge. Guys just getting to the quarterback, using a double move, a little shuffle step there. Bringing heat, and that young man doesn't get to see the field very often, so happy Jared Price to get in there and get his quarterback sacked.
He had a sack against Maryland as well. Ross back deep to receive, eludes a tackler, tries to get outside, has a block, hurdles a man, a dangerous play, then a takedown at the 45. 42-yard punt and a 16-yard return. Boy, the body's flying out there. How dangerous is that?
Huge
going
block.
over the top of somebody. 11:21 remaining in the game. It's all 10th ranked Cal. Following every Raiders game this season, change the channel to Comcast Sportsnet California for Raiders Postgame Live. I'll be your host, and with me will be former Raider great Bill Romanowski and Sports Talk legend Tony Bruno. Raiders Postgame Live premieres Monday night. Immediately following the Raiders-Chargers game, the Raiders game isn't over until we say it is. Raiders news on this Saturday. A Richard Seymour sighting and signing. He is signed with the Raiders, and there will be a press conference later today.
Oh, that's big news.
That certainly is. There was some question as to whether or not he would make his way to the West Coast. A new quarterback, Brock Manchin, with a pitch out, and now we start to see some new numbers into the ball game. Good run by Yvonne DeBoski Johnson, who last week had 9 carries for 54 yards. The day is over for Kevin Riley. And Riley, interesting character. He's kind of loose. I talked to him earlier this week. I asked him just for an odd nugget about him. He goes, you want to know something? You want to know what I want to do after I play? I'll let you know after this play. Brock Manson, the sophomore. I know. We're going to keep you around. It's not my first rodeo, baby. Good run by Kovan Dubosky Johnson. And Riley said, you know what I want to do when I'm done playing? I'd love to be a character on my favorite television show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I said, what? He said, yeah, I watch that show religiously. I'd love to be on that show. It's the funniest show on television. So he wants to be a character on a sitcom.
Why not? He has plenty of character.
He's grown as a quarterback. He's had some ups and downs. Kovan Dubosky Johnson to the outside. Boy, he has shown some good things at the running back position.
When we talk about Kevin Riley growing up a little bit, big pressure. Cal's #2 in the nation. Have a chance to go for #1 versus Oregon State. Riley in there at quarterback, has a chance to lead his Bears to a win. Gets taken down. Could have thrown the ball away, stopped the clock, done anything. Instead, he took a lot of heat, ran off the field. The Bears couldn't stop the clock, and Coach Tedford not very happy about that. That's a tough way to grow up, the Bears.
And they pop it up the middle, and it's Sofeli that's in for the touchdown. And it's Kevin Riley appreciating the effort of everyone, getting some carries and getting some minutes in this game.
Well, we saw them set up that play with E.C. Sofeli before. They bring him in that fly motion, and they didn't hand the ball off to him. This time he gets the rock, and he gets in for 6.
A 22-yard touchdown run. Sofeli's day, 2 carries, 35 yards. You get a big bang for that little package, don't you? D'Amato, perfect with the point after.
Well, if you're not going to be a monster in terms of size, you better be a monster in terms of speed, and all of the Cal backs have speed.
Right now, the Cal Bears starting to roll. They're up 52-7. It took them a while, but they're showing they're a top 10 team in the country. Gear up for the games at CalBears.com. Shop online in the Cal Team Store, where every purchase directly supports Cal student athletes. And the Cal student athletes doing a good job. They have been on a 45-0 run here. Last time Eastern Washington scored, 6:30 remaining in the first quarter. Since then, it's all Cal Bears. They've outrushed Eastern Washington 282 yards to 10. That last drive, 4 plays, 54 yards, all on the ground. We're starting to see this Cal team. Again, you think of Jeff Tedford. Many people think quarterback guy, David Carr, guys like that.
Trent
Dilfer, exactly.
Kyle Bowler, Aaron Rodgers.
Evidently, you've heard this story before.
I have heard this about Jeff Tedford, that he knows how to coach quarterbacks. Joey Harrington, all those guys.
Yep.
But what he's always had with all of these guys is a great running game. And that is what Jeff lives by. You establish the run.
Pac-10 today. How about the Pac-10 and the job they're doing? Washington putting up big numbers against Idaho. Then UCLA on the road with a win over Tennessee.
Coach Neuheisel down there against Lane Kiffin. Kind of very similar coaches in style. Going head-to-head.
Stanford playing today on the East Coast. It was a tough loss for them. Tough day. The Cardinal struggling. Also, Pac-10. Well, for Washington State, they're trying to grow. Hawaii.
And that's a tough place to grow, because Hawaii just throws it everywhere. That offense is nuts.
Everyone waiting for the
big
game.
one tonight, though, in the horseshoe.
It's tough to go in there. You don't go into Big Ten country and come out alive, I'll tell you.
I'm guessing the Trojans are going to come out okay tonight.
You think so?
Yeah.
We'll see. Everyone's pointing to Ohio State and how poor they've been against top 5 teams recently. The Big Ten is a conference, and they only have 2 real teams in the Big Ten. Is that fair?
Is it fair? Yeah, I mean, the Big Ten is definitely down. It's not as strong as it has been. And
how about the Cal Bears?
They got some games coming up. Minnesota had a nice win versus Syracuse last week. Coming up at Oregon, it remains to be seen what Oregon is going to look like this year. After that blow-up the first week versus Boise State.
Player jumped offside for Cal. That's the name I want for my defensive man, Payne. I want Kendrick
Offside
Payne.
by contact on the defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty.
That's the game that everybody has circled on their calendar. October 3rd, Bears versus Trojans. Now, USC has to come into Memorial Stadium this year to play it. SC, young on defense, still extremely talented, no question about it, a ton of talent. But, you know, they lose guys like Philly Moala, and they use Clay Matthews. They lose Kyle Moore on that defense. They lose a lot of sacks and a lot of pressure. Those young guys have to grow up quick.
New quarterback for Eastern Washington, Scott Burgett, a 6'2 freshman, 210 pounds. So he gets a look at a Pac-10 defense. Flags down to the play, so we'll let the officials sort things out. Cal leading 52-7 for the Bears.
On the defense, number 92. 15-yard penalty, previous spot, automatic first down.
The young guys, the clean jerseys, getting a little over-exuberant out there on the field. Trevor Guyton putting his hands up. Hey, I didn't mean it. I'm just a little excited out here. I got some adrenaline going, Coach.
Boy, they sure do. On the defensive side of the ball now, they've got that adrenaline. Offensive side, they do as well. 8:21 remaining in this game. Burgett with the give to Daryl Beaumont. How about the Cal offense in this thing? 52 points, first time ever, 50-plus points in the first 2 games of the season. They scored 52 last week against Maryland. First time they've had 50-plus points in back-to-back games since 1973. They did Army 51-6, then they beat Washington 54-49 in a real shootout. You know, we talked about offense in the open. Cal can beat you on the ground and in the air. And they did that again today. They're showing that this offense is something else, and the defense getting the job done. They continue to swarm around the ball carriers. They're not going to let the Eagles run the football at all today.
And again, new faces, new jerseys out there, but offensively, to your point, Jim, these guys are happy to take what you give them. You can try to shut them down. You can stick 8 men in the box. You can try to bring pressure. You can try to shut down that run. Fine. Kevin Riley will take you outside. You got to match up single somewhere. He'll find that guy. You try to cover the pass, protect, out there in the pass and try to make, them beat you with the run. They can do that too. So tough to face an offense that has so many facets.
Third down for Eastern Washington. A little bit of confusion. The freshman quarterback, Scott Burgett, looking out there, and finally we'll have to call time.
University timeout number 2.
We saw the schedule for the Cal Bears, and we'll talk more about the way they set up their schedule prior to the Pac-10 season next. The Bears up big at home. Third down for Eastern Washington. Burgett, the quarterback, a freshman, completes the pass. That's a nice catch. Brinson Brown, the senior, got open and picks up the first down for Eastern Washington.
Nice throw and catch, just a little short corner route. He's going to come inside and back to the open space. Good timing, well-delivered ball by the young quarterback.
He threw it on the break. That's a very nice throw.
That's exactly what you want. Stick it in there and move the chains.
What a nice moment for the freshman quarterback. Burgett trying to move the Eagles up the field, and the give to Beaumont right to the heart of that defense. And he picks up a couple. 6.5 to play in this game, and Cal up big. We were talking about the schedule earlier in that big SC game when Pac-10 play starts. I talked to Jeff Tedford a couple of weeks ago about scheduling and what the idea is at Cal, what they try to do. He said, we want to play a good big conference school, a good medium conference school, and a good smaller conference school. We feel that's the best way for us to prepare and get ourselves ready for our big season, the Pac-10 schedule.
So which one is the medium conference?
I'd say ACC.
Is a medium conference?
I would say that the big conference is the Big Ten.
I would say that's probably the big conference.
And by medium, I'm not saying that by any means that conference can't compete. They certainly can't compete. But I don't think you have a rash of ACC schools that are.
Well, I would think that teams like maybe Georgia Tech and Florida State might argue with your medium-sized conference.
They might. But you're probably right, because you can make the argument that maybe the Big Ten also doesn't have the long list of great teams. There are a lot of underperformers in the Big Ten.
I would agree with that. There are some underperformers in the Big Ten. Obviously, Michigan last couple years has not been on their game. Double pump. Oh, he had it.
And on third down, Burgett gets sacked. And a good
Chris
play.
Little getting in there.
Yep.
Good job from that linebacker spot. But you see Little coming right out the middle. You put too many guys in the same gap. The offensive line has to decide who to block. And Little finding his way through. Bears getting 4 sacks on the day today, 6 last week. That's 10 total in 2 weeks. That's a pretty good couple weeks of defensive football.
Mike Jarrett to hold, or rather to kick off the hold from Minardi. It'll be a 40-yard attempt, and the kick falls short.
Hit that ball a little low.
4:34 remaining in this one.
4:34 to play, 52-7 California.
Cal football on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you by your Northern California Honda dealers at shophonda.com and by Bank of the West, dedicated to your financial success for over 130 years. Stop by a branch or visit us on the web, a proud sponsor of Cal football. Well, we were talking about the play of the Big Ten versus the ACC. Big win for the Big Ten today. Michigan beats Notre Dame.
And a huge win for Michigan. Coach Rod, you know, he needs some of that up there. Right now in the Big Ten, though, really, you're looking at 2 teams. You can beat 2 teams in the Big Ten, or if you're one of those 2 teams, you beat 1 team, and you're in that BCS picture. So it's a good conference to be a top team in right now.
And Cal will get a look at a Big Ten team. They take on Minnesota in their next ball game. That's another early start game, too. Remember, those
that was a big deal. Yeah, last year,
go east.
A huge deal in that Maryland game, too, about an early start. But Coach Tedford usually pretty good about scheduling for his team when he has those early starts.
A mishandle on the exchange from quarterback to running back. Bo Sweeney now the quarterback in for Cal, the redshirt freshman from Fresno, California.
And son of his father, Jeff Sweeney, played with Jeff at Fresno State. His grandfather, Jim Sweeney, was Jeff's head coach down at Fresno State, so quite a tie-in.
Debosky Johnson gets to the outside, foot race, and he's pulled down. Good tackle made in the secondary. Eastern Washington with Eric Armstrong after the 35-yard gain by Kevon Debosky Johnson. Boy, he's put up numbers. He put up numbers against Maryland last week. He's putting them up again today. 5 carries, 78 yards in this game today.
And you're looking at the future of that tailback position again at Cal. To have those top 2 guys that are always good, you need to have that 3rd and 4th guy that are also good coming up in the program. And Jeff has found a way to do that here. Now, they may not see the field as much early on, but they end up becoming that feature back if they continue their growth.
And Sweeney on a roll, completes a pass. High tackle. And that's Jarrett Sparks who made the catch, the redshirt freshman. So from one redshirt freshman to another, that's a large tight end at 6'2", 230 pounds.
And another one of those guys who's had to step up at that tight end position because of the losses, but getting young quarterbacks some reps right now, getting young tight ends some catches, getting the young backs in the game. This pays dividends later in the season if you have to use these guys.
Bo Sweeney with his initial completion as a Cal Bear. Debosky Johnson straight ahead for Sweeney out of Fresno, California. Played at Clovis West High School. They have some good football down there.
Oh, got to watch him play.
Really good football.
And he was an excellent quarterback in high school.
Make sure you watch tonight. Comcast Sportsnet California beginning at 7 o'clock. Montana, the Grizzlies come to UC Davis to take on the Aggies. We'll have it for you tonight at 7. Bob Biggs and company try to right the ship. Grant Napier and Mike Lamb will have the game for you. And it is Debosky Johnson again weaving his way inside the 10. That's the one thing about California, the Central Valley, Northern California. A lot of good high school football that we've had a chance to see. And we talk about the quarterback Sweeney coming from part of that. And that Clovis area, a lot of great schools.
Great schools down in Clovis, Clovis East. You know, you've got some really good players coming out of Buchanan, Clovis West. I mean, they've all got really good talent down there. And all through Northern California, you get to see some of the stars playing week in and week out.
First and goal, Debosky Johnson. Shakes one tackler.
There's a reason why so many college coaches come to California to recruit for their teams. Teams are traveling across country. You know, the Notre Dames, the Michigans, the teams out of Florida. They're all coming here to find guys, too. There's a lot of talent in high school football in California.
You know, Bo Baldwin told us this earlier in the week. That's one of the reasons Eastern Washington likes to come down here and play. They recruit Northern California. They want to be seen down here. They want to show kids that, hey, they're a program that's not afraid to play the big boys.
Well, Taiwan Jones, right out of Antioch, California, just over the hill. I mean, it's a bunch of players on their roster from California. This is a showcase game for them to get down here and find those, and to have those players see them in action versus Cal.
Their quarterback, Matt Nichols, from Cottonwood, California. And a number of players here in the Northern California area. As Cal tries to punch it in, under a minute to play. Debosky Johnson. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Touchdown.
You can't ask those number 2 guys not to play hard when they get in there. They have to play hard. Number 2, number 3, Debosky Johnson, number 3 at tailback. You got all your young linemen in the game. You don't have any starting receivers in the game. You got your third quarterback. And so obviously Jeff's not trying to run up the score, but he's trying to get some experience for those young players. And you can't ask him not to go out and play hard.
On the point after, it is up and good. And for Kovan Debosky Johnson, 11 carries, 92 yards, and a touchdown. And the future does look bright for the Cal Bears.
Javid Best going over there to congratulate the young buck on his touchdown. All 3 of the feature backs for the Bears have a tug today.
You know, it's interesting. We were here a couple of years ago when Javid Best was a freshman, and all people talked about was the amazing speed, the 100-yard dash, and 100-meter dash, or winning the California State High School Sprint Championships. All they talked about was a sprinter who was playing football, but Javid's a football player who's fast.
That was it. And Jeff Tedford told us that from the beginning. He said, hey, you get a lot of these track guys that come out, and they're track guys that play football, and those guys don't want to get hit. I've seen plenty of really, really fast guys that don't want to get hit, and you can tell who they are. That's a track guy who come out here to try to use his speed. They don't make it. Javid Best is a football player first who could run a 10-300, and that's why he's so talented. He's not scared to mix it up. We saw him use the power down on the goal line, so he's a powerful, powerful runner who will get in the middle of things, mix it up, and run tackle to tackle.
20 seconds remaining. Giorgio Talvecchio. And to the 25-yard line. That's where Eastern Washington will have the ball with 16 seconds remaining. And this Cal team, the special teams, doing a very good job running up and down the field. Chris Moncrief there to be a part of the tackle on special teams. Great day running the football. Not just Javid Best. Shane Vereen as well. Special teams doing a very good job. They were good against Maryland. Good in this game against Eastern Washington. They'll have to be good once you get to the Pac-10 season. Everyone pointing to that game in October. USC, the Trojans coming here to Berkeley. Today, 58,083 on hand. As Beaumont gets outside. And he gets out of bounds with 11 seconds remaining. So Eastern Washington will have another play at it. Javid Best, you see him hold a two-finger. That's two. You get 2 wins right now. You get 2 wins. Let's get a couple more out there.
I think Cal will have some stuff to work on when they go back in the film room. Eastern Washington, I think, doing a nice job out here today, being efficient and showing on offense they had some firepower in there with that first group. Matt Nichols throwing the ball effectively. Shows why he was a Big Sky Offensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. I think both teams come away with this with good things.
Jeff Tedford has to be happy. His 61st win as the head coach of the Cal Bears. Bo Baldwin can keep his head held high in his second year at Eastern Washington. They're not afraid to play the big schools, and they played well, very well in the first half. But in the end, it was the talent of the Cal Bears coming in, the 10th ranked team in the country, the running of Javid Best, Shane Vereen, the efficient passing of the quarterback, Kevin Riley, and it was a touchdown package day.
Riley kicking it off himself with the quarterback sneak on that first Cal drive. Shane Vereen coming back, able to stick it in the end zone. Javid Best showing he can be a receiver too, not just a running back. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. So versatile. Then again on the ground, following that big line, just putting his shoulder down, finding a hole. Vereen, mirror image of his last touchdown. And then Sabele coming back, and he is quick side to side. He's got that juke move. And then DeBosky Johnson getting in on the act. That man, Mr. Riley, had a nice day at quarterback today as well.
Yeah, 13 of 20, 148 yards. Snuck into the end zone himself. An efficient day. But this is what catches the eye. Lightning and lightning. A lot of speed in the backfield. No one could catch him. When you look at the numbers put up rushing for Cal today, 342 yards on the ground.
And they get after it. The offensive line, a huge part. These guys so very talented individually. You know, we talk about Javid Best. He is in that Heisman chase. If you're just the feature back, if he's the only guy, that's over 200 yards of rushing for him. But you've got to distribute the wealth, and give them both their shots.
Javid Best, his 6th straight 100-yard rushing game. Down to the field with our own Christine Nubla.
Yeah, big day for the Cal running game, courtesy of Shane Vereen and this guy, Javid Best. Javid, 342 rushing yards for the offense today. How are you guys able to be so dominant?
Well, I mean, it starts with the offensive line, and they create holes for us. And as running backs, we just run through them and get what we can. So it's a great day for us.
Can you just describe the type of game you had today?
I felt like we started out a little slow, but then we started to get things going, and things were opening up for us, and then we were able to score points.
You and Vereen, such a dynamic tandem. Can you tell me what the both of you bring to the table?
I mean, we play so similar. I mean, sometimes I come off the field and ask him what I should have done, and we're both thinking the same thing. So it's great having a guy like him, because when I come to the sideline, I can get words of wisdom from him.
All right, Javid, thank you very much. I'd like to bring in Shane Vereen. Shane, can you join me here? 3 touchdowns for you. I asked Javid about just the powerful running game today. Can you tell me why you guys would be so effective against this Eastern Washington team?
We just found good matchups on against their defense, and the O-line blocked tremendously great, and we worked hard this week and against all the things that they were going to throw at us, and we were just able to exploit their holes and get good runs.
Javid talked about what you brought to the table in terms of you guys being such a dynamic tandem. What does Javid bring to the table?
Explosive, home runs. I mean, anything that you need in an explosive, a great back. One of the best backs in the country right here is number 4.
Last question. You know, this game looked like a mismatch on paper, and there's always that potential for a letdown. Can you guys tell me how you guys were able to avoid that?
We just got to focus. I mean, come out here and execute. It doesn't matter who we're playing. We have things that we need to execute. So the biggest thing is just executing our game plan and just doing what we have to do.
Great job, Shane. Nice job. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys, up to you.
Christine, nice job yourself. Great job by you today. Well, these guys make it fun to watch football at Cal.
Lightning and lightning, both extremely fast. Vereen can score, Best can score. There's a reason this man's up for the highest, but it's not just his rushing yards, but also the versatility, his all-purpose yards. He can mix it up inside, he can get it in the air, he can play that pass receiver position. And Shane Vereen right, Javid Best right. They're pretty much interchangeable. If Vereen getting those first snaps, his numbers would be gaudy as well. So both these backs, incredible talent for this Cal offense.
And they know how to answer a question. They give credit to the offensive line. Every football player up here is saying,
love the big boys
baby.
first.
Cal Bears a winner 59-7 over Eastern Washington. And it's a tough day for Eastern Washington, but Bo Baldwin can be happy. In that first half, they played very well. Today's game has been presented by Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in tonight, 7 o'clock, Comcast Sportsnet California. More college football. UC Davis takes on Montana. For more information, including upcoming schedules and events, log on to our all-new website, csncalifornia.com. For our producer, David Feldman, our director, Mark Wolfson, and for my partners, Mike Pulaski and Christine Nublo, this is Jim Kozimor saying so long from Berkeley.